hard-earned retirement savings last. Just go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your personal appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Truck drivers, the holiday rush is here. Now is the perfect time to become a Schneider driver. As an industry leader trusted by shippers nationwide, Schneider has the freight to keep you moving this holiday season and all year long. As a Schneider driver, you'll enjoy award-winning benefits, reliable equipment, a pay package that rewards your hard work, and so much more. Don't let the holiday rush pass you by. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz and Jay Binkley every Thursday in September starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations. Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Vern's On Deck show starts at 5. First pitch just after 6 for Game 3 of the ALDS right here on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Escobar coming up. That's into center field, a base hit. Here comes the runner, Gordon. Throw home, cut off, tie game. That's up the middle, base hit. Rio scores. Here comes Escobar, it's 3-1. Another 3-2. That's a ground ball into right center. In to score is Hosmer. Over to third is Morales, and it's 4-1. Broken back, fly ball, right field. How about Cueto? Royals up 2-0.
Here's the pitch. Salvi drills it high in the air, deep left field. No doubt about it. It's a home run. A game-tying blast from the Royals captain.
2 balls, no strikes. Dubich deals. Ground ball short. Diving stop Witt to second for 1. To first for 2. And the inability for Stanton to run shows up for the second straight game.
Pham lines it into right center field. That splits the gap, a base hit. Gurriel rounds third. He comes in to score standing. Tommy Pham delivers. He gives the Royals the lead in the top of the 4th with an opposite field RBI single. The Royals lead 2-1 in Game 2 of this division series.
And now Gleyber Torres, a right-handed batter, digs in against Irsay. In comes the pitch. First pitch fastball, ground ball Witt. He's going to go to first. Out at first. Game over. Royals win it and get the series even.
And we now get a home playoff baseball game later on this evening out at Kauffman Stadium for the first time in 9 years. And as I think Joel Goldberg, a friend of the show, did the math on it, 3,268 days ago, the last time we had playoff baseball in Kansas City out at the K. Welcome in. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Going to be a fun show today, fun show tomorrow with both games taking place in Kansas City. And we'll check in with our guy, Josh Vern, here a little bit later on today. Royals baseball on the air here, 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on Deck show at 5. First pitch, 6:08 here on 96.5 The Fan. And reminder, you may have heard Bob and Dusty talking about it briefly, but right now, in our station parking lot, we've got some shirts to give away. Right now. Some of you are already lined up, I will say.
Yeah, some of them are gone, but
there are playoff-themed shirts, thanks to our friends over at DM Injury Law. We've got about 100 shirts to give away in the parking lot starting 3 minutes ago. And 1 shirt per person in your car. That's what we ask, okay? Maximum of 2 people. That's what I'm told to say from the boss. That is going on right now.
They say, we didn't come this far just to come this far. You might remember. Pretty memorable quote a couple of times in this postseason run. So, yeah, playoff-themed shirts. Go on down there and get them. You can Google our address. I mean,
Odyssey, AUDACY.
Yeah, everyone has GPS, right? I mean, beyond that, why not get yourself a shirt? If you're going out to the K tonight, if you're heading to a bar, we know you're watching the game. Either at home, you need a shirt. At the bar, you need a shirt. At the K, you need a shirt. we know how this works. So if you're heading or planning on watching the game or enjoying it anyway, why not go get a free shirt while supplies last? We will, I guess, let you know on this show once they're gone.
Yes.
So you don't try to make your way over here.
Yeah, drive safely. No need to rush, okay? You know.
And then, make it fun for yourself. Like, maybe give Dusty the middle finger or something, just to, he'd be like, let him wonder why you did that to him once on your way in, since he'll be out there helping.
Yeah, various sizes, but while supplies last, here at the 96.5 The Fan parking lot, I think Bob, Dusty, and Mac are handing out some of the shirts, as a matter of fact. So you can meet some of them if you haven't met either of them or the three of them, and we will keep you updated on the shirt total and where things are. My guess is they will go fairly quickly, as usually the T-shirt drops do when they're at the station.
You and I have learned that lesson a couple times. Taylor Swift ones were fast. I was worried I was going to have to be outside for 2 hours during the show, and I only had to be outside for 35 minutes. Great day. But yes, please do not rush to get over here. But they are available, and make your way over if you'd like to get a shirt. You guys can interact with us, as always, also on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. 3,268 days, man, since the last playoff game at Kauffman Stadium. We get that again in Kansas City tonight. I can just if anybody was there in 14 and 15, you can close your eyes and you can picture what that was like. And you're going to see 37,000 plus, and the first aerial shot during the TV broadcast tonight of the 37,000 plus rally towels. Everybody, it's going to be incredible. And they're telling people to get in their seats. Right about by 5:40, I believe is yes. Gates at 3:30 for those asking.
Well, tailgating this afternoon for playoff baseball. Beautiful weather in Kansas City. I mean, honestly, it is perfect right now outside. And the Royals, by splitting in New York, they're in control. They're in control of this series. That's the position they put themselves in. You get Seth Lugo on the bump. We'll talk about him more specifically in a couple of minutes. But yeah, the Royals, we've talked about pressure and things like that. I think at home it presents a different bit of pressure for everybody when you're back at home. The Yankees aren't at home, but their pressure is more just historical pressure.
The series is tied, even though they were home.
And Aaron Judge not hitting in the postseason again. For the Royals, I'm sure it's the first time any of these guys other than Salvador Perez on the team have experienced the K like it's going to be tonight. But I think when you're the home team, that only amps you up more. That only leads, hopefully, to even better performance from guys like Michael Garcia, as we discussed with J.J. Piccolo yesterday, that he lives for these intense atmospheres. It's, I think, a big reason why he had a 4-hit night in New York the other night.
Yeah, I think that's a huge reason why. And I do think that the playoff version of baseball at Kauffman I've dearly missed. I mean, look at that. Look at the Padres game last night. Did you see that park? It was just it was rocking again. Kauffman is hungry. They haven't had a chance to do these things in a long time. Royals fans haven't had a chance to do these things in a long time. And I do think that they're in control of this series. Whether I think they're going to win it or it's a lock, 100%, no question. No, obviously, the Yankees are a very good team, and this series could still go either way. But the Royals gained control of this series by getting the win. And if you said on aggregate, who has been the better team in the first two games of this series, even though it's tied 1-1, the answer is the Royals. The Yankees only had a chance to win one of the games. The Royals had a chance to win both. Just put that to a side. The Royals' bullpen's been better. They've been similar on offense. It's the Yankees better in game one, Royals better in game two offensively. Nobody's had any kind of advantage in the starting pitching department. The Royals are the team right now that have the advantage in the series. And as we get, how many hours away? 8 hours away from first pitch exactly, actually. It's 10:08. 8 hours exactly from this second from first pitch tonight at the K. There is no player I am happier for. And that includes Bobby Witt Jr. or our friend Vinny Pasquantino or any of the guys that we know or like on this team than Salvador Perez. I am so happy for Salvador Perez. Dude, do you realize he was 25 years old the last time he played in a playoff game for the Royals? 25? He was a baby.
He was. I saw the photo that was circulating yesterday on social media. How cool was it? It was Alcides Escobar. This is 2012 or 2013. Yeah. This is even before the run of 14 or 15. It's Alcides Escobar, Salvador Perez, a skinny Salvador Perez, a young Salvador Perez, and in the middle of the photo is who? Alcides Escobar's cousin,
Michael Garcia.
Michael Garcia. You know the photo I'm talking about. It went viral a little bit yesterday, and you see, I don't know how old Michael would have been in that photo. I mean, he looked like he was like 11 years old or 10 years old, if that.
An actual child.
He was a child. And now to fast forward, and he's one of the key pieces and was a key piece to winning that game on Monday, and probably is going to have to be, I think, have a key at bat at some point tonight or tomorrow in this series. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool for all of them, but specifically Salvador Perez, because we know the backstory of the last 12 months or so, which is that there were real conversations that maybe it was time to move on in terms of a trade. And would that be better for him? Would that be better for the organization? And those have been discussed quite a bit, those conversations. And they decided, both parties, that it was best to not move on. And there was belief and trust in this front office that they were going to make moves to put them in contention again. I don't think anybody thought it would be to this extent this quickly. Thank goodness it is. But for them to now be in an American League Divisional Series knotted up with 2 home games coming up starting tonight, Salvador Perez having one of his best years of his career. I know
a resurgent year for sure.
No doubt. And I know the last month hasn't been the best offense, but he just came up with a home run on Monday that tied the game and ended any momentum the Yankees had. So, yeah, you're absolutely happy for Salva. He was asked yesterday in some of the media availability about, like, what he remembers from 14 and 15. I think he said everything.
He said, I remember it like it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. God, that was a moving moment, wasn't it? Oh, man. I'm happy for all the guys because, again, we talked about this in the last, and I don't know we've made a big enough point about this, the turnaround from 56 to what they are now. What we had talked about in the last regime, the in-between regime, between when the Royals were last playing a home playoff game like they are today in 2015, and what they are today is, all those players that we talked about and Vern talked about got used to losing. They were losers because they got used to it. They just wallowed in it. They were familiar with the feeling of it. They went to the K knowing they were going to lose. They won 56 games last year. It'd been easy for guys like Massey and Vinny and Brady and some of these guys to let it wash over them in the same way it did for the unit before them. And instead, no. They've got guys like Salvador Perez who won't let them lose. Bobby Wood Jr. shows up who sure as hell won't let them lose. And the second that the right mix of pieces got in here, then I have to get used to losing. Because now they know what the playoffs feel like. Playoff baseball feels like. Already have a playoff series win under their belt. Tied at 1 game apiece against the New York Yankees. Imagine the emotional high they'll be riding if they win this series going into the ALCS because of it was knocking out the Yankees and you got home playoff games. All of that stuff factors.
Yeah, for those guys to experience what Kaufman's like for a playoff, that's what I'm excited. I mean, same thing applies to fans, too. There's a lot of you that either weren't able to in 14 or 15, weren't living in Kansas City that are listening maybe in 14 or 15 to experience what the K is capable of being. Let's be honest. Other than a handful of games over the last, random games, there hasn't been a ton of amazing moments over the last 9 years there. I know there were some games this year where Bobby and some of the guys were like, wow, never heard the K this loud. Well, wait till tonight. And that's what's special. And then, look, I love playing the highlights like we did of 14 and 15. Those are memories we all will have for the rest of our lives. But I'm looking forward to the new memory that hopefully is created tonight and tomorrow and hopefully even further because they're going on a deeper playoff run. It's cool to reference 14 and 15. But I'll be honest, Cody, I'm kind of sick of tired. what the go-to. They rotated. I think they gave out white and blue ones. Different day. Each game was a little different.
Okay. We'll see. I don't know. They haven't told me.
Feature Cody and Gold garage sale items.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I like to hold on to those two. We'll see. Actually, I don't collect towels. What am I going to do with them? Hang them up?
Someone says, how many Yankees fans do we think will be there? That's a good question. I mean, there will be some. It's the New York Yankees. Their fans are everywhere.
There are Royals fans at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
It always works both ways. It'll make up 10%, 8%. I don't know. Like, there's always a percentage of the crowd that's going to go to the road team for the fans that are willing to travel, but I think that's it. The big important question we have for tonight, which is if the Royals are going to get the win and they have a chance to clinch a seat to the ALCS at Kauffman Stadium tomorrow, is can Lugo step up? Do we think Lugo will step up? Because he led the American League in innings pitched this year. For all the Reagans didn't go deep, Walker didn't go deep, they have not had starters go deep in the order right now. You and I both know that they need Lugo to carry some innings. They play a baseball game tomorrow. That factors into this too. And he went a lot of innings for a reason. Now, he did have a higher home ERA than he did on the road. So he was a better road pitcher than he was home pitcher this year, but he was dominant the entire year. I do think Lugo is ready for this moment. I think the last time out, he did not perform to the level that they have wanted, and they still got the win. But I expect them to use Lugo deep into this game today.
So Matt Quatrero, as we know, the last couple, has, in one case with Angel Zerpa, gone and been able to push the right button because Zerpa was able to throw strikes and was able to get out of the particular inning. We've seen that twice in this postseason. One time it didn't work. Ultimately, the player has to go out and execute. And so I think some people were not liking the decision to pull Michael Wacha on Saturday or Cole Reagans or whatever. Cole Reagans' pitch count was also starting to get up high. Salvador Perez also signaled over to the dugout like, hey, it's time to get somebody loose. And so you'll trust your veteran and recognizing that the command is off. So I don't think it's been crazy decisions by any means. I wonder, though, Cody, because there's not an off day tomorrow, do you see if Seth Lugo is pitching pretty well, them let him go longer than they did the prior couple outings from these starting pitchers? Because the other examples, there was an off day. There was an off day when you played Saturday. You knew you had an off day on Sunday. When you played Monday, you knew you had an off day on Tuesday. This one, you're playing tomorrow no matter what. No matter what happens tonight, you're playing a game tomorrow. So I wonder, unless Lugo has, his performances this year, he's going to give you somewhat of a baseline of performance. I think we've seen enough from him this year. I don't believe they'll be quite as quick with him knowing they have to do it all over again tomorrow without an off day. Does that mean he's going 7 innings? Probably not. I just don't think that's how Q and the Royals are going to approach the bullpen this postseason.
I'd like 6, though. I need 6 innings out of Lugo tonight.
Their bullpen has been sensational this postseason, and there's a lot of trust there, and I get it. They should have trust in these guys right now. They've been terrific, this group. But because you play tomorrow, I don't think you can afford to, 4 1/3 inning, pull Seth Lugo if it's a 2-1 game or something like that, and go to Zerpa again in the 5th. I just don't believe you do that tonight, knowing that tomorrow Walker's on the mound, and you might have to do it all over again, or you will have to do it all over again.
This team with a lot on the line in August and September. In 6 of his last 7 starts, he was at least still pitching in the 6th. He got through the 6th in 5 of those 7 starts, Gold. And the one start I'm talking about where he didn't at least pitch in this, 6 of the last 7, I'm not counting the last start where he only went 2 innings.
Yeah.
So 6 of the last 7 that mattered, he went into the 6th inning. 5 of the last 7, he pitched through the 6th inning. He gave them at least 7 solid innings of work, including 5 starts that went 2 earned runs or less. That's what I expect out of Seth Lugo. I know he said this out of Reagans and he didn't deliver, but the same thing applies. Reagans didn't deliver. I still expected it out of him, and they needed it out of him. Now, they covered him, but they saved Reagans' ass in the last game, right? He didn't have it. Now, he battled. He didn't just, leave the game.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, but it wasn't
He didn't leave the games up to the gods, but he did not. He'll tell you, I'll tell you, Vern will tell you, he did not deliver what he was expected to deliver in that game. That's what they need from Lugo tonight. If they get what they're supposed to get out of Lugo tonight, well, then they're winning. And then on Thursday, we get to talk about them with a chance to clinch it on their own home field, a chance to go to the ALCS. And so, yeah, I'm going to put that pressure on them once again because they played 162 games this year. They won 86 of them, and the starting rotation was the single biggest reason why they were able to do that this year. So, why would I not assume or put the pressure back on them in order to do that?
everybody, of course, available after the day off yesterday. So depending on how this game, if it's close or if it's out of hand one way or the other, also can change your approach. But looking at even Clark Schmidt, the pitcher who nobody really knows much about for the Yankees, limited innings, 90 innings this year or something. Really effective, though, in the 90 innings. Sure. Feels like, I know we've seen a 6-5 game and a 4-1 game to start this series. This one feel like it's a little lower scoring. I know we say that, and next thing you know, Aaron Judge and Bobby both blow up, and all of a sudden it's an 8-9 game in the 8th inning or something.
I don't think I can handle that.
But it feels like this could lean more towards that lower scoring mark, not a 6-5 game. It feels like this could be a 3-2 type of game, a 3-1 type of game, hopefully in favor of the Royals tonight. We're going to talk plenty of Royals baseball throughout the show. Here in about 8 minutes, we are going to be joined by Ross Tucker, though, our Odyssey NFL insider. I want to check in with him as we do every week, get his perspective on the Chiefs going into the bye week 5-0. Also, what's been going on with the Jets and their firing of Robert Saleh and everything. But there's one thing that we have to remind our friends from the East Coast that might be coming to Kansas City today, might already be in town, and think that they somehow are big brother to us in Kansas City. And I'm not just talking about city size, flyover country crap that we'll hear all the time. I'm talking about actual sports titles, as in winning championships in the last, 10 years, and who has done that. Remember, we only have, now if we want to throw in soccer as well, but
of the major four.
Two of the major four. In the last 10 years, I just want to remind everybody, the New York market has 0 titles.
None?
5 out of the last 11 years, if we count Sporting Kansas City. 5 titles in the last 11, if we include them. In New York, the answer is 0.
And as a reminder, they have 2 NBA teams, 2 NHL teams, 2 Major League Baseball teams. So they have 2 of every major sport. They have 8. They have 4 times the amount of the 4 major professional sports franchises. And Kansas City has 4 titles, and they got goose egg? Yeah, that feels good. We talked about this. This is our Midwest bias showing.
Oh, I know.
It brings me joy to watch East Coast teams struggle.
Absolutely. Just remember that. Don't let them try to. And I've seen this on social media more than anywhere else. And I don't know. Hopefully, out of Kaufman, it's not a problem. But I'm kind of sick of the discussion as if the Yankees are somehow the superior franchise over the last decade, or if the Yankees somehow or have actually accomplished anything in the last decade. They haven't. Historically, sure. Duh. Last decade, what have they accomplished? What have they accomplished in New York?
They've gone to some ALCSs. Maybe the Knicks team got to like the second round of the NBA, third round of the NBA playoffs. The
Jets are a joke. The last title in that city was David Tyree catching a ball right off his helmet.
Was I in high school? That feels so long ago.
Wasn't it? Wasn't that 2011?
Yeah, I wasn't in high school. I was quite a bit older than that. But still, that feels like a million years ago.
I actually was.
Keep holding them down. Keep holding them down, you know? Keep their head below water and make sure that they as a city continue to feel the pressure to do it. Meanwhile, the city they compete with the most in sports, Boston, probably has 15 during that time. Hell, the Celtics are the defending NBA champions.
I was going to say Boston, yeah.
Like, it's not like the Red Sox have no titles in the last 15 years. It's not like the Bruins don't have any hardware. They do. They have all those.
All right, by the way, it sounds like we have not got a text or anything that they're out of shirts downstairs. So if you're someone that was listening to start the show, remember we've got some playoff-themed shirts thanks to our friends over at DM Injury Law. You got to come by the parking lot here at 7,000 Squibb Road where our Odyssey stations are at. We had 100 to start. I have not got a text that we're out, so just use that information wisely. Take your time, though, getting over here. No need to rush or anything like that. But Bob, Dusty, and Mac are downstairs handing out some T-shirts. Up next, though, let's talk a little NFL briefly. Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, want to ask him if he agrees that was the best the Chiefs have looked all season. Next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We mentioned that Bob, Dusty, and Mac are down in our parking lot. What's the shape of your parking lot? make sure that it looks better than what, some do, right? At Gann Asphalt and Concrete, they're one contractor, all things parking lot. They say that because they want you to not have to worry about, farming out every little part of the job where you're like, well, do I get a different person if I get the bumper blocks, or do I need somebody else to paint it after they've paved it? No, they'll take care of the project from start until finish. It is the front of your business. Make sure everyone knows it's taken care of. That's what matters. Whether it's the signage or the drainage system, they've been working in Kansas City with local companies like you for 30 years. 30 years in Kansas City, locally owned and operated. You don't do that unless you take care of the people inside of Kansas City the way they take care of their business. Look, if you need those parking lot needs and you know it, you can just look and you know it. Well, then Gann Asphalt and Concrete will take care of you. Go to GANandasphalt.com and take a look at the services they can do for you. Take a look at the reviews given by customers who've been incredibly happy with their project, and make sure that you're taking care of those needs. That's GANandasphalt.com.
My name is Michael, and I am a Centric graduate. I was burnt out at my sales job and just going through the motions. I decided it was finally time to stop putting it off and make a change in my life. Centric's hands-on training and fast program was the step that I needed. I graduated with the certifications and real-world experience to get a career in tech. I got a job and haven't looked back, only to a better future. Don't put it off any longer. Visit Centric.com to take control of your future. That's Centric.com.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our 2 soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri School Board Treasurer.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig, an absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Playoff baseball is here, and BetMGM is bringing the energy with the first ever bullpen jackpot. That's right. Opt in to BetMGM's exclusive bullpen jackpot. Place a player to hit a home run bet for any MLB playoff game this fall, and you could win a share of $50,000 in bonus bets if your player homers into the bullpen. That's not all. This offer lasts throughout the playoffs and right into the World Series. Plus, keep your eyes on the bullpen. It'll be branded with BetMGM across all MLB ballparks every step of the way. Don't miss out. The bullpen jackpot could be your ticket to $50,000 in bonus bets. So bet your home run prop bets on BetMGM. Watch the bullpen and cash in if a player lands a home run where it counts. Only with the sportsbook born in Vegas. BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined as always by my co-anchor Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2, at T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
24 monthly bill credits. Eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreement due. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your new Total Wine & Lee's Summit has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers. Plus, totally low prices and friendly service from our expertly trained guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order in-store or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Now open in Lee's Summit at Summit Woods Crossing next to TJ Maxx. Drink responsibly. B21.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's majestic golden eagles and other less majestic birds taunting you through the baseball-sized hole in your new windows. It's soaring guitar solos performed through faulty wiring in your garage, which subsequently erupts into flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, playoff Wednesday in Kansas City. Royals baseball coming your way this evening. We'll get right back to the Royals in 15 minutes or so. Of course, first pitch, 6:08 right here on your home for the Royals and Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan. Let's talk a little Chiefs and NFL, though, for a few minutes with our guy Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL Insider. Insider Calls brought to you by Hellman's Real Mayonnaise, Mayo Game Day, be delicious. Ross, I know we weren't able to link up, but I must say that the photo, it looked great. How were the ribs? How was the brisket? How was the food on I'm assuming the plaza here in Kansas City?
It was awesome, yes. I was staying, I don't know, what do they call it, Marriott Country Club Plaza or whatever.
Okay.
And I walked down, met my producer at Jack Stack, and I know everybody has their favorites, and I've been to the place where people say it's the most authentic or whatever. Listen, I don't care, okay? I just want good tasting food, and it was delicious. It was great. You know what I really like is crowdsourcing from people what their recommendations are. Right, so I put on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. Okay, KC, what am I ordering? And people had different opinions. A lot of people said the burnt ends. A lot of people said the crown. I don't even know what the crown is, but they said the crown. I got a lot of cheesy corn, so I think I did pretty well. I got the burnt ends. I got the ribs. I got the cheesy corn. I wasn't sure what to do with my third for the combo. I guess I feel like I have brisket a lot. I have pulled pork. I guess I could have done other burnt ends. But I ended up getting, this might sound lame to you guys. I like a nice sliced turkey.
Okay.
I like a nice sliced turkey as a change-up with the burnt ends and the ribs, and then I would cut up the turkey and I would dip it into my beans. That was delicious. It was like a bean smothered turkey slice.
I feel like you did pretty well. I always think burnt ends you have to do because you'll go to other cities and they'll claim they're selling you burnt ends, Ross. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're just charring up a different part of the meat. It's not an actual burnt end. In Kansas City, they're giving it to you the proper way.
So I know I've asked somebody this before, but you got to explain to me again what exactly is a burnt end and why don't they do it other places?
So the way that they cheat the system in other places is they'll cook it so it kind of looks like it looks similar in style to it. Here it's the actual end piece of a brisket, right? It's like
the trimmings from a smoked brisket.
It's the trimming from a smoked brisket. It's just part of the finished brisket piece. And so in other places they'll just cut it in a cube and be like, here you go, it's a burnt end. It's not the end part. That's where the flavor is.
But what I don't understand is why don't they do that in other cities? Why is Kansas City the only place where I even see burnt ends on the menu?
Laziness is my guess. They think it's trash food or something. I don't know. They're crazy, Ross.
Delicious.
That's the answer. Yeah, yes, I agree.
Everything about it was amazing. And then, because this is not amateur hour, okay, I asked them their desserts. They did have a warmed brownie with ice cream. Because I know what I'm doing, I ordered an extra scoop of ice cream because every bite has to be half ice cream, half warm brownie. That was amazing. That's the way you finish it off. The contrast. I'll be happy to do any other Kansas City games the rest of the year. I'm very happy with my Kansas City experience. Although I did think it was interesting, and again, I've created the genre, so we should talk about it. Of press box food. Do the Chiefs typically try to do something from the away team? Because
normally not the case.
Yeah, the press box food was gumbo, like chicken gumbo, and fried catfish bites. And I will say I thought the chicken gumbo was pretty good. I poured it sort of over a bed of rice. And maybe I was just so hungry at that point, but I thought it was tasty. But I don't know. I think it's interesting when an organization makes the decision, let's go ahead and let's try to give the away people something that they eat all the time in their home city. I don't know. We could have a much longer conversation about this.
Well, let's talk about the Chiefs. They moved to 5-0 ahead of their bye week. Alex and I both thought that was the best game they've played all season. Do you think that that's the best the Chiefs have looked?
Yeah, by far. By far. I thought they looked really, really good. I thought Mahomes looked more comfortable than he has all year. They had multiple situations where guys were wide open. It's really, we'll see how many more Andy Reid and Mahomes can win together. But I do think we need to start having a conversation about where Andy Reid ranks among the all-time coaches. What was I watching Monday night? What was I calling? Kareem Hunt and Juju Smith-Schuster?
And 4 tight end sets, man.
2024? For the and a 35-year-old Travis Kelce in 2024 for the Chiefs? It's super impressive against a good Saints defense that they were able to move the ball as well as they did. Honestly, that game shouldn't even have been close. They got bogged down in the red zone and held the field goals, which is unlike the Chiefs. And then Colin Saunders had those incredible back-to-back plays, stuffing Kelce and then the interception return, which was hilarious, obviously.
Yes.
But honestly, that game, didn't even need to be that close, and they still won by double digits against a team that had played very well through the first 4 weeks.
Do you believe, though, watching Juju Smith-Schuster, that performance in a weird way could cause the Chiefs to not trade for a receiver in a couple of weeks?
That's an interesting observation. I think they will still be very open to it. I think they know what they believe Xavier Worthy is right now, what Justin Watson is and has been, what Sky Moore hasn't been, and even what Juju is now. I don't think Monday night will give them delusions of Juju grandeur, right? I think that they still probably think they'd be better served if they got somebody else in there to be a part of the mix, especially because what happens if somebody else gets hurt?
Yeah, I think it presents a problem, certainly there, and I would absolutely go after a wide receiver. Amongst the rest of the AFC, I just want to ask you, since we only got a couple more minutes, I just want to ask you 3 teams, and I want you to tell me who's better in the AFC. Texans, Ravens, or Bills? Who's the best out of those 3? How would you rank them?
Ravens 1, Bills 2, Texans 3. I would say Bills and Texans are pretty close right now. But the Ravens, they've really kind of got that offense and the run game going. You can throw it on them, but they've got the offense and the run game going. Interestingly, the Bills just lost to them, to both those teams back-to-back weeks, but that was also the worst I've ever seen Josh Allen play. And they didn't have Shakir, who's a critical component of their offense, Khalil Shakir. I still would take the Bills over the Texans, like in a playoff game. I thought the Texans, that was an opportunity for them to kind of make a statement that they're a true contender. I don't know that they made it. I mean, they won, but I don't know that they made. I don't know that I was impressed. And now they put Nico Collins on IR. That's not good. I mean, he's kind of the engine that makes the offense go.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL insider here on 96.5 The Fan. We know the news yesterday morning, the Jets firing Robert Saleh. I think if they would have done it in the offseason, people wouldn't be all that surprised, but the fact that it happened so early on in the year was what made it a little stunning. What do you think this does, if anything, for the Jets moving forward? I mean, the offense is the problem, not the defense.
Right, and we'll see what decision new interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich makes on the offensive side of the ball. There's all kinds of weird reports out there. There's a report that Saleh was thinking about firing Nathaniel Hackett. Mm-hmm. There's a report that Saleh had given Todd Downing the play calling duties right before he got fired. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on there. I don't think he would have actually fired Hackett because I don't think that would have gone over well with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it is interesting to me. It's kind of like we're sort of getting, and you guys are in a good spot with Mahomes and how good of a guy he is, but we're sort of getting into the NBA-ification. It's definitely not a word of the NFL in that it just feels like Aaron Rodgers runs the organization. They're letting a 40-year-old quarterback who's probably not a top 10 guy anymore dictate the terms.
Yep.
That doesn't seem like a real good recipe for success.
No, 100% with you. The Jets, of course, get the Bills. Somehow, if the Jets were to win, they'd be in first place. That's what's wild about the timing of the firing and everything. But I'm with you. The head coach of the New York Jets is Aaron Rodgers. All right, Ross, appreciate it, man. Glad you enjoyed the barbecue and your time in KC, and we'll try to catch you up here in a couple weeks.
That'd be great. See you guys.
There you go. Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL Insider Calls, brought to you by Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. May your game day be delicious. You can purchase Hellman's at your local Walmart or grocery store to add that extra deliciousness and creamy flavor to your game day dishes this football season.
We are informed that the playoff-themed T-shirts we had available downstairs to the first 100 people, they are gone.
Out.
But we will be doing it again soon.
Yes.
We'll have another chance for you to get those shirts down the road. But if you were heading this way or you're thinking about getting them, those playoff-themed T-shirts outside the building, gone, as Denny would say. No more as you head towards the K here in about 7 hours.
That's right. I saw Dusty walk back up here. I knew, and I was like, we out? He's like, yeah, we're out quick. Figured that was going to be.
I'm surprised it took 45 minutes.
A lot of people were hitting me up about these tickets, though.
Okay, have you?
I was negotiating with somebody.
Found a buyer?
I was negotiating with a listener, and it's still in the process. Some of you have texted, and I haven't had a chance from doing a radio show at the same time, so I haven't had a chance to respond to you.
Hey, you're selling tickets while you're on the air?
I'm trying to. I'm going to the game, so I want to be very clear.
Why just give him to Drew and his wife? Let him experience playoff baseball for real. Be generous.
Because I spent money on the tickets.
But you could. It's like a gift.
I spent,
early Christmas gift for Drew.
I spent money on the tickets. I'm trying to, I think, give a pretty good deal because I'm avoiding the fees, and so are you, versus going on a StubHub or something like that. So, yeah, I'm going to the game tonight. You and I are both going to be there, but I have a pair of tickets that I bought weeks ago just in case.
Yeah.
That I wasn't going to go for work, full disclosure, and I am. So, yeah, I have a pair of tickets. They're downstairs. I'll just say Road 20 or Section 201. That's the outfield Sonic Slam. Road G, hit me up. I think it's a pretty fair price. I'm not going to say the price on the air, but look at the ticket prices and know that you're going to pay about $60 at least per ticket in fees. I'm saying let's eliminate the fees for both of us. We both get a good deal.
Does work better that way for sure. I'll say that. Speaking of the game tonight, I was thinking about the team building and the JJ Piccolo stuff and everything that led to this team and why they're having success so far in the postseason. The Royals are 3-1 in the postseason so far. For the most part, we've been experiencing winning playoff baseball here in Kansas City once again. There is something they build their team around in the regular season that I think barely helps them. I'm dead serious. Barely impacts their win total in the regular season that clearly makes a massive difference once runs are hard to come by and you got to scrap for them. Defense and base running, specifically base running. I understand that those are things you got to be good at, but if you just got good pitching and you can't run a lick, you can be the best team in baseball. If you have great hitting and great pitching, but you can't steal a base or play defense, there are teams that can't play good defense in the postseason right now, who can't base run. The Yankees, who are in the postseason right now. But the reason why I think the Royals, when they do miraculously, it seems like, get to the postseason over the last 10 years, the 2 runs they had in 14 and 15, and now this run currently in 2024, the base running and the defense is the reason why they actually win these games. I mean, look at it. Tommy Pham makes a play in left and right field from 2 different sides yesterday. Half of the Royals lineup, would you say, could steal a base? Isbell, Maikel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., hell, Massey takes one every once in a while, right? I mean, it's not a ton. Well, maybe he only has 1 or 2. He doesn't have a ton. But half of the Royals lineup can steal a base. It seems like it's the difference between why when they get to the postseason they are successful, but why I don't like watching it in the regular season, if that makes sense. I don't feel like it impacts the win total there as much, Gold, as it impacts it during the postseason.
Well, once you get to the postseason, starting pitching, we always talk about shorter series that sets you up. And then, yeah,
People go to their bullpen
how do you have
faster.
great starting pitch? You back it up. You rely on your defense a little bit more. Every mistake that is made on the base pass or defensively is magnified even more. So, yeah, I know there's frustration at times of how some teams go about building their team. This is the story of the New York Yankees, Cody, and their postseason history. Why you and I brought up last segment that in the last decade, that city hasn't had a whole lot of 4 major pro sport titles, as in 0 out of the 4 majors. I understand some of the soccer teams there have won, as some of you texted us. I'm talking about the 4 major pro sports. They haven't had a title there. The Yankees in particular, their problem is they got a great lineup, home run city, Bronx Bombers, all that. Come October, the bats go cold. And they have relied on that so heavily. You know, it's why when we talk about the Baltimore Orioles, they didn't have a pinch runner for Ryan O'Hearn on their playoff roster.
Yeah.
You know, so that the Royals have built a roster where they have that flexibility and it gives them those options moving forward. They're going to continue to have that with the way the roster is constructed this postseason. And honestly, for beyond this year, it's how they kind of built this team. We'll go 14 and 15 and how they did it.
It's just funny. I don't feel like it's like a far down the list contributing factor for why they are a postseason team, the speed and defense. And somehow it skyrockets like 10 spots up the list for why you win them once the postseason starts. And I think it's a lot of what you're saying. I just think runs are harder to come by in the postseason. Like, you got to scratch and survive and earn them and get them. Home runs always go down. You've talked about this before. I've talked about this before. The boppers don't seem to matter as much. Do you know who led? Do you want to know the stolen base totals for the New York Yankees right now? The team that has not run the bases well. Right now, as it sits, Anthony Volpe has the most stolen bases in New York Yankee at 28. Jazz Chisholm has 18. Okay. He can run the bases. Jazz Chisholm can run them. He had a lot with Miami before. He had 18 in 46 games, so he steals a base about every other game. The next highest person on the entire Yankees list this year is Judge with 10. They don't run, dude. If a Yankees player is on first, that's where he's staying. Do you know how many games? I don't think anyone has been keeping track of this stat, but something I've definitively noticed in the first 2 games. Think back now, Golden. You'll realize it too. How many times this series have you seen the Yankees get a hit with a guy on first and that guy stopped at second? It's happened like 5 times. It's happened. You hadn't thought about it until now, but it's happened like 5 times that a guy has hit a single to right field and they haven't had a soul go first to third, put themselves on third base with 1 out, put them on the corners, put more pressure on the Royals. The Royals are doing that to teams. It seems like it's a major factor in this series.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll get to what we think is the single biggest decision that has allowed the Royals as an organization to get to this point? We'll take your phone calls on that, too. 913-586-7965. That's also the Jay Southland Tow Service text line. That's coming up in 10 minutes. I know we normally, when we talk about Deion Sanders, it's about college football specifically, and it's talking about Colorado and all that. We're not talking about Colorado, but Deion was holding a press conference yesterday. Coach Prime was. And he was looking at a reporter that asked a question. He said, "Hey, I like your hat, man." The reporter was wearing a Royals hat. And so listen to this piece of audio. It's a back and forth, but also Deion explaining his time at spring training when he was near the Royals facility and also getting drafted by the Royals organization. I thought this was just pretty cool. I think Royals fans will enjoy this.
George Brett, I grew up on George Brett.
That's when you
I grew up Terry Park.
100%.
I was hustling balls in the third grade. I used to skip school, bring my little sock. I used to beat everybody running when they hit the home run balls, and I used to get the balls, and I used to sell them during the game.
Really?
That was my hustle. I used to always make sure I brought the teacher my best ball with an autograph. I used to sit out there where they came out there out of the clubhouse, and I would get their autographs. And I would beg for crack bats. Crack bats was like $10 or $15. You know, a good home run ball and BP was like $3.50, $1.50 bat ball. Amos Otis, I used to go down there in the batting cages and help him pick up the balls. I used to be standing on the gate, little kid, you know, darn 7 or 8 years old, and he used to let me come in, and I helped him get up the balls and pick up the balls, and he would give me several of them, and that was my hustle, man. I was drafted by the Kansas City Royals out of high school.
Really?
Dick Hauser was the manager. Dick Hauser is the one, the late great Dick Hauser was the one that said, "Son, if you're good enough for us to draft you right now, I hear you're a pretty good football player. I would go to college and we'll draft you again." And that's why I went and played football, because they offered me a substantial amount of money, even though I wasn't an early round pick. But it was a lot of money from a kid that grew up 2 miles from the place.
That's kind of cool to hear him talk
Very
about
cool.
his time at spring training and Amos Otis and
Pretty good advice, by the way. Tell him to go play football.
Dick Hauser, yeah, saying, "Hey, you can go to college, man, and maybe play football." Worked out pretty well for Deion Sanders. I'll be honest, I didn't know all the background. Maybe some of you listening are like, "Well, how did you know?" I wasn't fully aware of that exact sequence, and certainly didn't know that he ended up kind of getting to know Amos Otis and some of those guys and selling $10 crack bats basically as a side hustle.
I love the hustle of going to get used BP baseballs and selling them for $1.50.
That's awesome.
Or getting BP home runs and selling them for $3.50. You could already tell some of the times where the two-sport athletes are easily some of the most impressive to me, where we don't see that really ever anymore. It's been a long time since we saw a guy truly dip his toe in both. Like Kyler Murray seemed like maybe he was next man up in that department, right? And he chose football because quarterback pays a lot of money, and a lot of guaranteed money, and you can get it a whole hell of a lot sooner in the NFL than what you would be expected to get it in the Major League Baseball if you continue to do it long enough. But yeah, that's cool. The Royals have an incredible history of drafting some great football players. Elway and Deion, they were great. I think maybe they were great at drafting future
the
great
A's. Kyler Murray was the
players.
A's.
Yeah, I was talking not Kyler Murray. I was talking the old guys. But it's like Elway and all those guys. They did a really good job of drafting future great football players. Apparently Deion being one of them.
Yeah, no, I thought you were about to say Murray. You were like Murray. I thought you were going to bring up other players. Obviously, Bo Jackson, his history playing two sports too.
Yeah, well, different. He was great at both too. They just got him for baseball that time versus the guys who eventually went on and played that. I don't know. Do you think we'll ever see another NFL NBA guy or NFL Major League Baseball guy?
I mean, everybody thought Kyler Murray, right? I mean, everybody thought Kyler Murray was going to be that player. I just think in today's day and age, the workout regimens, what's expected year round now from you, and that is your job. And what is required to play at the level, and just with where everybody's athleticism is at in each sport nowadays, and training regimens, I don't believe you can play two sports. No, I don't believe that. And also, I'll be honest, like if I'm let's say I'm the NFL team and I draft you top 5 and I'm going to invest all this money in you, I don't believe that investment I'm making in you that I want you playing another sport. Hell, this is the argument even for Travis Hunter at Colorado, who's going to, can play corner and wide receiver. If I'm a team that drafts Travis Hunter in the top 5, Cody, I don't want him playing two sports in the NFL. I want him focusing on one. I would choose wide receiver, So I
you
just
don't
don't
even
think,
want him double dipping the position.
Correct.
I just don't know in the NFL if you can play 90 snaps in a game and stay healthy. I know people play special team snaps and play not a full, but a halftime defensive role. So maybe there's some way to manage it. I don't know, but I don't know how you could possibly think that that's going to be the case. It's also just, I think people will tell you in youth sports that there tends to be a hyper focus now on being great at one thing versus being multi-sport athletes. That's just changed. Gold, when you were a kid, when I was a kid, you played baseball in the summer and basketball in the winter. You know, you really did just play one sport or two sports per season year-round in rotation. And now if you play competitive baseball, there are indoor machine pitch, essentially like shot tracer leagues, right? Where exit velocity, where you hit, like there are leagues year-round for every sport you play, if that's the only sport you play, which adds as a completely different element.
One of my friends in high school, he actually played football in Missouri, and he said as he was getting recruited by other schools, the college coaches would tell him, we need you focusing on football stuff. Like, do not play basketball. Do not do any of the extra stuff.
Yeah, there's some studies that say like specializing in one sport is not a good idea.
It's not.
Yes,
but yeah, it is interesting just where things are at. It's much different than it was.
Didn't hurt Mahomes to play baseball.
Definitely did not. All right, up next, let's get to the biggest decision that was made to get the Royals to this point. We'll take your calls on it as well. 913-586-7965.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Kansas City, is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings, located off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, October 11th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your coworkers might annoy you, but we promise we won't. Download the free Odyssey app and you can listen to us at work while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Tune in late? You can rewind your favorite live shows to catch what you missed. And with Chapters, easily jump to the topics that you care about most, like the latest updates from your team. Your sports talk, your way. The Odyssey app. Download it today.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
It's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here now on 96.5 The Fan, telling you guys about my friends over at Window World. Window World is the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick up the phone right now and call Window World today at 816-799-0820 or check out the website, windowskansascity.com. And remember this, when you call Window World, be sure to mention that you heard this on The Drive with me, and you'll be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets during the upcoming season. You know they got some big games, and you're going to want to be there. So call my friends over at Window World. They're offering right now 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. In over 20 years of business, Window World has improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 54,000 homes right here in the Kansas City metro. Check out the website, windowskansascity.com. Pick up the phone today at 816-799-0820 for a free home estimate. Call to be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets. Remember, Window World, simply the best for less. And the official window of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5
and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Build out a same-game parlay for Thursday Night Football between the Niners and the Seahawks. How about DK Metcalf to go over his receiving yards, Kenneth Walker for an anytime touchdown, and Brock Purdy to go over his passing total? Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
When it comes to financial goals, everyone has that one thing you want to accomplish. Raise your credit score, give your kitchen a well-deserved glow-up, or eliminate credit card debt. At Main Street Credit Union, your main thing, well, that's our thing. It's what we're passionate about, helping you achieve your main thing. So bring us your wants, your needs, and your goals. We'll provide you with the tools to achieve them. Go to mainstreetcu.org for more information.
Tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti to hear the Sims Spotlight featuring Super Bowl winning quarterback Phil Simms. Brought to you by Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Here it comes. Torres takes a call, third strike over the outside edge. He is shaking his head as he goes back to the dugout, but he did not complain. It was a borderline pitch.
One of 6 outs recorded from Chris Bubich the other night in the Bronx.
He was fantastic.
He was incredible. He's been great out of the bullpen since he has had that role. Remember, this is still technically a rehab season for Chris Bubich.
Not anymore, man. He's pitching in the postseason.
That's right.
Season's
That's
on.
right. No question. Of course, that was Ryan Lefevre on the call. You can hear the Royals tonight on your home for the Royals, 96.5 The Fan. First pitch, 6:08. Out at Kauffman Stadium. Vern's on deck show at 5 o'clock this afternoon. CDOT will be broadcasting live outside of Gate D at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if you want to stop by, if you're planning to go to the game, swing by there, say hello. I know he's got some special people stopping by throughout his show today as well. We'll have Vern join us here in about an hour and a half as we're getting set for Royals playoff baseball in Kansas City for the first time since 2015.
Because we know we've got a lot of new fans here over on the FM signal. Please let us know. Alex and I are both going to be at the game. I'd like to stop by and meet some fans on my way into the
Cody
stadium
wants a free beer at a tailgate,
I didn't
okay?
say I'm not supposed to drink a lot before I work or anything, but I'd like to stop by and say hi to people.
Keyword a lot.
I like to get to know people a lot. Well, pretty
If
zero.
you're offering, he is not going to deny one.
Well, I mean, I'm not like a prude or anything. But I'd also morally, it's more about just meeting some people that we haven't had a chance to meet. Our show tries to get out there. We try to be amongst the people. Tell me where you're going to be tailgating today, and I'll try to pop by my way into the stadium. Let me know at 913-586-7965.
That phone number is also where you can call or text. Yes. What is the biggest decision you guys think led to the Royals getting to this point? I'm talking organizationally, not literally how, like, in the last week or so they got to that. I'm talking
not like they called Ursig in for the ninth.
I am saying, how did this organization get to a point where they could bounce back from a 56-win season to where they are now, which is in the driver's seat of an American League divisional series that's knotted up with 2 home games at Kauffman Stadium? I want to hear from you guys, because I think if we start broadly, the answer is, well, J.J. Piccolo is the general manager of this team, and that is not
just
a shot.
hiring J.J. Piccolo.
Yeah, and that's not a shot at Dayton Moore. We all know what he accomplished in this city.
He won a
My
World
goodness,
Series.
he won a World Series. He brought us some unbelievable moments in this city, and he will be forever remembered for that. He's done amazing things, still continues to do amazing things in this community. But with where baseball is at now, I think the single biggest decision is that J.J. Piccolo is the general manager in a different approach, a different way of looking at things. J.J. Piccolo's hire then leads to the hire of Matt Quatrero in a different approach. It leads to John Sherman's belief to spend a little bit of money because he believes in the vision of the organization. So that's the broad answer, and then we can narrow it down if you want. Text line, or you can call us. Individual moves, sure, that took place along the way.
So if you open it up to anything, the hiring of J.J. Piccolo is a massive impact for it. Somebody could just say it's drafting Bobby Witt Jr. I see that over in the text line, 816. Here's my answer. Retaining Salvador Perez. I know that the trade of Cole Reagans has probably equaled more wins, on paper. I'm sure the signing of Seth Lugo has equaled more wins on paper, all of those things. I do not think that this is a postseason team without making sure Salvador Perez is still here. Not trading Salvador Perez, for me, is the single biggest move they made in helping this team go from 56 wins to being in the postseason. He is far too important to this organization, far too important to this franchise, and he's had a great season. So he's actually, he's contributed in a big way to the way that they win. He's played 150-plus games this year, almost 100 of which was at catcher. He was there to play first base when Vinny went down. All of those things, the leadership, everything in between. I know Reagans and Lugo, or, hell, you could say, would they have made the postseason if they didn't make the bullpen trade deadline deals for Urseg or others? Maybe not. But I think Salvador Perez, you made me rank it out as the single biggest one.
If we're going to go individual players, at this point in time, how's the answer not just the fact that ultimately they drafted and developed talent that has led to a guy that's going to finish second in MVP voting, that is going to win an MVP someday, that will put his team on his back? And I understand he's 0 for 5 the last couple nights, but I fully expect Bobby Witt Jr. this evening to step up in a big way offensively in addition to his defense, and I think he will. And so that, if we're going specific moves, I actually think that's the first one that comes to mind. I understand what Lugo and Reagan's moves have meant, of course. But without Bobby Witt Jr., this team is simply not in the postseason. Just not. Period. You can't take away those numbers, those RBIs, the stolen bases,
so
the
just
pressure.
simply the drafting or just retaining him. Just giving him
he was
the
never
extension.
He was never gonna. Even if they didn't get a deal done, he was never not gonna be on the team this year.
Yes.
But drafting Bobby Witt Jr. How many times we talked about mainly pitching, but developing players. Period. They were able to evaluate talent. Seems so obvious, like, well, duh, of course you should have drafted him. But we see all the time in baseball, guys get drafted in incorrect order and misdrafted all the time. So that would be the particular move. And that was under Dayton Moore, obviously, as well. That's what I'm saying. I think
his fingerprints are still in some
course.
small places. I saw someone be like, you got to give all this credit to him. Like, I don't have to give a ton of credit to Dayton because he definitely has, because he was the GM just a few years ago, some parts of this team, including drafting and signing and extending multiple times Salvador Perez. So it's not like Dayton has no impact. He obviously was the GM of record when they went and took Bobby Witt Jr. This goes down to I don't know who the person was banging the table. Nobody needed to bang the table. Everybody knew. I could have drafted Bobby Witt Jr., right, in a lot of ways, but they did it and they developed
That's
it.
what I'm saying. What you just said there is where I was like, I know people will say it's so simple, but how many times have we seen the Royals organization draft the wrong guy?
Too many times.
So
I'm sure the Orioles, who had the number 1 overall pick, thought that Adley Rutschman was the sure thing. It's not like he's not a big leaguer or a very good player, but if they could reverse engineer that thing, they'd take Bobby Witt Jr., that's for sure. It was actually, because we go back to the decision, you and I defended it at the time, and I think at the time we were accused of it because we had a relationship with J.J. Piccolo, but at the time I'm like, they're different people. I do not think of work the same way that my boss thinks of work. We do not have the same ideas, approach everything in the same way. JJ was willing to take a modern approach to this team. I don't know how many times Dayton Moore looked me in the face and said, we should be more transactional, but that he knew that was a difficult thing for him to do because of the personal relationships he had built and knew he liked. It was hard for him to get past, even if he knew it was something he needed to do. JJ's been willing to make that move.
Yeah, that's why it's the first answer. I'm curious what you guys are thinking. 913-586-7965. Let's go out to Tyler. Tyler, you're on Cody and Gold.
Yeah, I do think it's because of JJ. I understand your take, Gold, on Bobby, which obviously he was a great draft choice. He's been great this year. But I think it's honestly the pitching staff that he has assembled. I think that's been really, other than Bobby, the starting pitching staff has been pretty consistent all year.
Yeah.
And so what we all see what playoff Aaron Judge is like, which works out in our favor. Bobby didn't have a great series in New York. We don't want that to happen with Bobby, obviously, but it goes back to pitching. My granddad always said good pitching stops good hitting, and the pitching staff that JJ has assembled, and also to your point of being more transitional, getting trades like Lucas Erceg. I really feel like that Erceg trade was a big boost because before the All-Star break, we weren't getting a lot of strikeouts in our bullpen. That was our biggest issue, was the lack of strikeouts. Erceg comes in and really just kind of motivates. I feel like our bullpen, look at Chris Bubich. So I really feel like it was JJ. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it. That's Tyler here, 913-586-7965. We'll continue to take some of your calls there. I mean,
Changing the pitching development.
No doubt. And I mean, as far as individual moves this year, I mean, Lucas Erceg, not even close. I mean, it's one.
Probably, honestly. If you for entire calendar year,
I mean, but with where this team was at, as far as a trade deadline move, you can make a strong case. Lucas Erceg is the best trade deadline move of any team in baseball, based off of now knowing where they're at in the postseason. I know there were other big Jazz Chisholm, who we've been talking about, was a nice acquisition for the Yankees. But I think knowing where this bullpen was at, think about it, if Erceg is not on this team, I know other guys have since stepped up.
I honestly think they don't make the postseason.
Chris Bubich would be closing, okay, but Lucas Erceg allowed them to set up the bullpen to where it is at now.
Chris Bubich wasn't even pitching back-to-back games until mid-September. He couldn't have been the closer for this team the whole way. I mean, simply put, if they don't get Lucas Erceg at the deadline, they still don't make the playoffs.
So I'm saying I think it's the biggest trade deadline move any team made this year.
Probably. Yeah. I'm not looking at them all on paper. Odds are yes, that there's no one who had one that was more impactful than that. I think Lugo's probably the answer for like any move this year. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can go back. Obviously, it's years and years and years worth of, like we talked about with Salvi or Reagan's trade or all these other ones that make these massive impacts for why the team is here. It is J.J. Piccolo hitting on like 9 of the last 11 moves he's made, 10 of the last 13. Whatever it is, the rate, his hit rate right now is incredibly high. Like Brett Veach level hot of every move I make seemingly works out. I mean, what the few that didn't work were, I guess, Hunter Harvey.
Yeah, and he's
like
still under team
Garrett Hampson. People who didn't like, he just had a nice game.
Hunter Harvey, we'll find out next year. I mean, it's not he wasn't a half season rental. He didn't help this team this year, but Hunter Harvey will be in the bullpen for this team next year.
Someone said, what about Sherman for spending money?
Sure.
That might apply there as well.
913-586-7965. James in KCK, it looks like. You're on with Cody and Gold.
Oh, yeah. My number one thing, the big thing that you brought up, Jazz Chisholm, and I remembered this as you brought him up. I was complaining to my sisters about how stupid this guy must have been to, like, say crap like how we are, quote unquote, we got lucky, as if there's no effort involved in baseball like that. Because, like you said, I would think that going to the replay booth when you're obviously out and getting called safe anyway, that's pretty goddamn lucky, I'd say. That's pretty lucky. And you're going to the stadium that's right next to the NFL stadium that looms large when you're going to go there for an away game. Like, that is the worst NFL stadium to have to play an away game into because of the crowd noise. And you think next door that crowd's going to be any different in the postseason after how hungry they've been for a postseason? And then not only like that, you light a fire under all of them by insulting their team after losing, and now you're going on a home road stretch. Honestly, I think after that, series might not even go back to New York. The only problem is, like we said, Bobby really hasn't had a great, like, postseason. It's like superstar shortstops, for whatever reason, just haven't had whatever's been going for him put out. Gunnar Henderson in the wild card series, he played like crap.
Thanks for the call, James. 913-586-7965. I do think the thing with Bobby Wood Jr. So, yeah, the last two games, 0 for 5. Nobody's disputing that. It's a fact.
0 for his last 10.
0 for his last 10. First time in his career he's gone back-to-back games 0 for 5. I still think, though, the notion that he's had a bad postseason is still eliminating the fact that in his first two postseason games, he came up with game-winning hits. What would ultimately be the game-winning hit in one of them. You know what I mean? Like, so I hear you. Like, nobody's saying that he the last 10 at-bats have not been good. Not worried about him tonight, and especially since we saw him come through in Baltimore. Now, if he was...
He's also been a better hitter at home this year.
He has,
pretty significantly better.
You know, and, of course, off the offensive stuff, look on the defensive side. The double play, we played the call of it earlier.
I get it.
The glove has still been incredible.
If you looked at his postseason stats, because he's 0 for his last 10... He's hitting 158 with a 316 OPS. So, like, the numbers themselves in 4 games. But if he goes 3 for 5 tonight, his OPS is going to be 800.
I know. Yeah.
Like, it's the same as caring about what a player does statistically. Like, if you look at the box score in the first 5 games of the regular season. No, he's had 2 game-winning hits, and he's played really good defense. In his first 2 games, he went 3 of 10. You'd take him hitting 300 in the postseason most of the time. He has been cold each of the last 2 games, and that has certainly been a factor. But, yeah, I'm not. By no means am I here panicked about it at the moment.
Let's get one more call in here. 913-586-7965. We were asking the question, what's the single biggest decision you think the Royals made to get to where they are now as an organization? Jason in Gardner, you're on Cody and Gold.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Good, man.
I think, hands down, without question, the key that has turned this entire machine around was them extending Bobby Witt and giving him the contract that they gave him. Because that, to me, proved to these other pitchers and all these other players that were willing to come to Kansas City, these guys are for real. Maybe this is an end game for me. You know, I would not be surprised one bit if they don't extend Urseg in the off season, if they don't extend Cole in the off season. You know, I think that makes a big difference, man. I mean, for the first time in the history of the Royals, we've got a 6-figure deal. You know, if it's of this caliber, going to a player that quite honestly deserved it. And I think that's really, you know, that has a lot to do with it. I think the ownership proving that they want to be a winning program. That makes a big deal because, you know, if I'm a veteran, I don't want to end my career in an area where, you know, I want to go out with a bang. I don't want to end with a team that doesn't care if they win or not. So,
thanks for the call, Jason. Jason and Gardner.
They didn't have to extend Lucas Urseg. They got years and years and years of control on him.
He's still pre-arbitration. Yeah,
for the next 2 years, he's pre-arbitration.
Yeah, so no, that don't have to do. I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, I mean, I think it could cause things. I will say, though, you mentioned, hey, maybe the other moves led to Bobby's extension. Yeah, I think it was more that. I think it was more that the Royals going out and getting Seth Lugo, for example, and Michael Wacha probably gave Bobby more confidence than it was. Like Bobby's extension, remember, came in February. They had already signed Seth Lugo. They had already signed Michael Wacha, if I'm not mistaken, prior to that extension. So it was more those moves proved to Bobby, I think, more than it was Bobby signing had anything to do with Lugo signing in Kansas City. Now, do I think Bobby Witt Jr., who's one of the most exciting players to watch in all baseball, do I think as we move forward that him being on this team is going to lead to other players maybe, if the money's right, ultimately, right, that's what still is going to matter from 90% of guys out there. If the money's right or close, and they have an opportunity to play with Bobby, and especially if this team goes on a run this year, yeah, I think there's a small fraction that it can help in free agency going forward with other players. But ultimately, we know, especially in baseball, when you wait so long to get your big payday as a free agent and have the opportunity to be free, money is going to be 90% of the equation, I would argue.
This is why the Lucas Erceg deal is such a good deal. And people were like, well, I don't know how much you're giving up for Lucas Erceg. He is not a free agent until 2029.
Yeah.
They have 5 more years because baseball's nuts. If it takes you a while to get to the big leagues, they just control your entire career. They don't ever have to pay you. They can, but they don't have to. He doesn't get arbitration raises for 2 more seasons. He just has to make, 8. I mean, look, I'm sure most people would take $800,000 a year, but he's certainly not being paid based on his value, not his current value to the Royals organization, to the Royals team. Now, they've been willing to pay teams or pay players early and just lock them up, but still. That's what made that trade so spectacular at the time.
We'll get to the Chiefs Red half hour here in about 8 minutes or so. Appreciate your guys' call. Reminder, Josh Vern, you're going to join us at 12:30 today as we continue to get set for the Royals and Yankees Game 3 ALDS a little bit later on today out at Kauffman Stadium. You mentioned the tailgate and hey, let us know where you guys are going to be at. A few people did text in, by the way. We appreciate that. I'm curious. It's not a Chiefs tailgate. I get it. It's half the people. One stadium is holding 73,000 plus. This one is holding is me 37,000 plus out there. But is this one where do you get the sense because the weather's great? It's not October baseball weather by any means. Do you think we're going to see more people out there taking the afternoon off, going out there? And baseball's normally not a tailgate sport. We know because we're in Kansas City, we see it more than you would otherwise. But I wonder, it's still a weekday. It's still a Wednesday. It's the middle of a work week for a lot of people out there.
I think it just kind of depends, I think, in Kansas City a lot of times about whether or not you think that this is they're in for the short haul or the long haul. Sometimes people try to save up for their moment, From a tailgate perspective, from a taking a full day off perspective. I think in the ALDS, there still tends to be the, I'll go after work. I'll happy to know, 913-586-7965. Let us know. Then I'll save it up. Because if I'm going to miss work, I'm going to do it. Look at me. So I told you I had class this previous Monday. Drew just told me to cancel it. But if the Royals, just so you know, if the Royals go to the ALCS, you know what to do? They'll play next Monday night. If the Royals go to Game 6 of the ALCS, guess what they'll do? They'll play the Monday after that. If the Royals go to the World Series, guess the Monday after that too. So you have to play the long game sometimes. You say, screw it. I'll work the full day. Maybe I'll knock off an hour early, right? Maybe I'll take an hour of PTO, 2 hours of PTO. But I don't think that this is I'll give up my entire workday today. I'll give up my entire workday tomorrow. I think if you get the evening game, that's why people cared about what time the games are going to be.
Yeah.
You're happy to get to save the PTO for when you really want it. A parade, a World Series game, any of the things that could still be looming.
I think you're right, though, that it might be 6 o'clock versus 7 for kids is a big thing, too. I get it. Tickets are expensive. But if you're fortunate to be able to do that and you can take your kids 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, way easier to pull off than a 7 o'clock game, even though baseball games, should be shorter than a football game. Even if you have postseason decision-making that drags these games on a little bit more than a regular season game. But I wonder, if some people are going to take a little bit of, an hour, leave office an hour early kind of thing. Someone says shutting down at 3, heading to the stadium.
That's knocking off a little early, but not
They're
crazy
heading out
early.
at 12 or 12:30.
Wow, early. Well, some people want to be the first people in the building. That works. Also, some people have more flexible jobs than you. And, like you and I got to work till at least 2. I don't I can't be like, hey, Gold, I know it's noon today. See you later.
Yeah, actually, I want to go out there early, guys. I'm out. I just want to sit out there.
You want to enjoy the K and the ambiance quick, huh? So you're thinking, I'll just head out.
Someone said they have a group of 25 people. They don't have tickets to the game. They're just going to tailgate. Watch the game in the parking lot.
Is anyone going to get a ticket? What's the plan there? They just want to be a part of the atmosphere. You know this is. People sit in the parking lots for Taylor Swift concerts for the same reason. They just want to be at Kauffman Stadium to bask in what part of the moment they can afford. 25 people can buy parking. They can ride in a big vehicle together, ride in a couple vehicles together, whatever they want to do. But yeah, it's different when you want to do the other end. Again, let me know where you're going to be. 913-586-7965. I'm going to stop a couple places on my way into the building. We talked about it before. We know that there are new people listening to 96.5 The Fan, and the people who've been with us since the very beginning on this show. We'd like to meet both.
Up next, we get to the Cheese Shred half hour, though, for a little bit. Somebody's back in the driver's seat. And I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised based on the numbers, at least. We'll get to that next on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We're just talking about sitting out in a parking lot, tailgating, right? Well, you know if your parking lot doesn't look good outside of your business, worry about that no longer. Call Gann Asphalt and Concrete and make sure that you're taken care of. One contractor, all things parking lot. That's what they say over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete because they can handle all of those needs. We've said it doesn't matter how big or small your project is or if you're trying to do this out in pieces. You know, they just took over a contract for a retirement home over in the Overland Park area. Well, that's because they want to make sure that their people are safe, right? If that's important to you, that your business looks good, is a reflection of your business and how much care you have put into your business, then you'll call Gann Asphalt and Concrete. They care about their business. They've been doing local work, locally owned and operated for 30 years, serving the Kansas City community for 30 years. That's what they want to do for you. So whether you want to make your parking lot safe or more appealing, they're going to do that for you. Seal coating, crack filling, drainage systems, faded striping, or just potholes due to those upcoming harsh winter conditions. Gann Asphalt and Concrete will do that for you. Go to GANNasphalt.com, take a look at their services for you, and let them know that Cody sent you.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
It's the best time of the year. It's tailgate season, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time at Hy-Vee's Wine and Spirits department. This week is the perfect time to stock up and save on wine, beer, seltzer, and spirits during Hy-Vee's Thirsty Thursday sale. This Thursday only, get a 50-cent Fuel Saver discount for every $50 you spend on beer, wine, hard seltzer, and spirits. I love seeing the price at the pump go down when I use my Fuel Saver card. Don't miss Thirsty Thursdays only at Hy-Vee. Offer valid at Kansas City area Missouri stores only.
This year, FanDuel is giving you a chance to win big every Thursday night with FanDuel Squares. It's the same Super Bowl Squares game you've always known, only better. That's because your numbers aren't just randomly assigned. You get to pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like. You'll get to see the odds beforehand, and you can bet them live during the game. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Alex and bet on Squares. Plus, if you're new to FanDuel, you can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Ernie Hudson here. I'm turning 79 this year. And you know what comes with age? Wisdom. Like choosing to get an RSV vaccine. RSV is a highly contagious virus that can land older adults in the hospital. Adults like me, 75 or older, or those 60 or older with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes. Check eligibility and schedule an RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm gonna have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We'll probably cheat a little bit, I'll be honest, and towards the end of this half hour, talk some Royals baseball. After all, we have our first...
Hey! It's
Royals.
the Chiefs Red Half Hour.
I know.
You're not honoring it.
That's right. The Chiefs are on a bye week, okay? They're on a bye week now.
Do you know some of the things we've gotten into in the Chiefs Red Half Hour over the years?
A lot of weird stuff at times. So we'll probably squeeze in some Royals here in this half hour because we do have the Royals' first home playoff game since 2015 coming up later on today. Vern's going to join us less than an hour from now. I'll even say this. Look, I'm in a good mood. You're in a good mood. Kansas City's in a good mood today. We got playoff baseball, all this. This is going to stun you with what I'm about to say, Cody. It's going to stun you.
Okay.
In the 1 o'clock hour today, you can pick one Royals song that you've sung before. One song. You pick whichever one. You pick one Royals song and you can play it. It's not a new song, but any song you have in the catalog.
I have a guess.
Oh.
As to what one you're going
There's
to
so
choose,
many
actually.
choices,
I
man.
have a guess.
I could play the original. You've never even heard it, Drew. I once made a song for Bobby Wood Jr. when he was making his debut.
I don't think he needs the song, though, today. You know?
I don't think he does.
But yeah, 1 o'clock hour today.
Okay, 1 o'clock hour.
Pick a song.
Any Royal song I've ever done. This will be delightful.
Some of you on the text line will be thankful. Some are going to hate me. It's one of the two.
If you're new to here, I do songs sometimes on this show.
He does. Some are better than others. Fair to say. 913-586-7965. Let's talk a little Chiefs, though, for a second. The quarterback play across the league, we've discussed this, has been down. Offense overall has been down. Patrick Mahomes, though, is coming off maybe his best game of the season, even though he didn't have multiple touchdowns. He didn't have a single touchdown pass. And then you take a look over at the odds market, Cody. Patrick Mahomes is the biggest favorite he's been all year to win MVP, just like that. Now, I do not recommend putting a bet on him at plus 230, now that he's plus 230. But he's 230. Stroud 6-1, Lamar 6.5-1, Josh Allen's falling back to 9-1.
How is he the MVP favorite? He has 6 picks.
Jaden Daniels is 11-1, Sam Darnold 12-1. But you said it there: 6 touchdowns, 6 picks. The stat line is not MVP worthy. This is pedigree. This is the belief that the Chiefs are going to keep winning. This is the belief that Patrick Mahomes will find a way to figure it out. It's also him coming off a game where he did look sharp, even if the touchdowns were not there. It also just speaks to C.J. Stroud didn't look great. He also just lost Nico Collins. Lamar Jackson has had some iffy performances. Josh Allen's coming off his worst performance of the season. That's why the rookie Jaden Daniels is suddenly really compelling there with the Commanders and what he can do.
If the award was through 5 weeks, I don't know why he wouldn't win it. He's been the best quarterback in the league through 5 weeks. That doesn't mean they just give you the award. I'm just saying, if they canceled the rest of the season, they said name an MVP, well, then Jaden Daniels should win it. Right? I mean, his team would be in the postseason, first place in their division, and he has had a better statistical season than any of the people that you had previously mentioned. I'm a little surprised. I am surprised that he is the front runner. I think a lot of this, though, is what we would call in stockbroking or gold, the way you do with baseball cards. This is speculating. We are taking a guess that Patrick Mahomes' touchdown to interception ratio will continue to improve. And so to go along with his 5-0 record, he's going to win the division, a requirement of winning the MVP. He's going to be a playoff team, a requirement to win the MVP. His team is going to be one of the best ones, and he's going to put up enough yardage and touchdowns, they figure, that he'll deserve to be in the mix. He also now, which he didn't have before, he now has the benefit of narrative. Narrative is, look at what he's doing with scraps. He's making Juju Smith-Schuster look good. He's making Kareem Hunt look good. He actually didn't have the narrative to begin the season.
Correct.
That was Josh Allen who had that same narrative. He now possesses that. So
100%, man.
That's what's really, I think that's what's booing him the most. He's without his number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. So even if his stats are lower, people will forgive it because of who he's throwing to.
100%. It's a narrative-driven award. It's going to change another 10 times before we get to the end of the season. But yes, and I think Josh Allen still has the narrative on his side. The problem with them is they've lost a couple games in a row, and he hasn't played well the last 2 weeks, and so that's why he's dropped down to 9-1. But if you had a preseason Mahomes ticket, then you're obviously feeling decent. I just don't think I'd put a plus 230 bet in on Mahomes. If you just gave me $100 right now, Cody, and said, hey, make a new bet. I already had a preseason ticket on Josh Allen. If you said, hey, Gold, make a new bet on MVP.
Based on the odds you're giving,
Sam Darnold at 12-1 is who I would be making my bet on. And I know that name, you're like, oh, give me a break. It's Sam freaking Darnold.
That's what makes it easier for him to win it.
But that's exactly. And he's undefeated as well. And Kevin O'Connell is a really good head coach, much like Mahomes has Andy Reid. Sam Darnold has a great head coach in Justin Jefferson.
So a rookie's never won the MVP. So I would have a hard time if you made me put my money on somebody putting it there. I'd probably either put it on Lamar Jackson, who is 6.5 to 1, 7 to 1, somewhere in that 6 to 1.
He won it last year. Some voters are going to get voted
I understand. But he's got 9 touchdowns to 1 pick, and his team's going to win a ton of games. And people will view it that he won his division, and it's a difficult division, so I'll look at it that way. Wild enough, just based on the current odds, because we're talking value here as well, my second vote might be Joe Burrow. And you're like, but how? Because if they make the postseason, they might give him the award. His stats are great. 12 touchdowns, 2 picks, a gajillion yards. The only problem is the reason why I wouldn't bet Joe Burrow is you have to think they're going to make the postseason in order to bet him. And I don't think they're going to make the postseason.
Smoking on the Joe Burrow. Smoking on the Joe Burrow.
They're not going to make the postseason is my biggest angle. If I thought they were actually making the postseason, they beat the Giants this week, maybe. Right? Because his stats do line up. Other than that, I probably just bet Lamar. What the hell am I supposed to bet? It's a wide open race, but you're not getting nearly good enough odds. You're not giving me nearly good enough to bet Mahomes. He has 6 touchdowns and 6 picks.
Stats.
And I'm only getting 2 to 1?
Yeah, it's
I'd rather just put the Royals on the money line tonight. What the hell are we doing? Are they the favorites tonight? I don't know what the odds are.
No, the Yankees are.
Okay. So the Royals aren't going to be a favorite a single time in this series. That's
not by much. So Yankees are minus 116. Royals are minus 102. It's close. So but they are a dog. The total for the game is set at over under 8.
So you're just telling me right now, I can either wait all season to find out if Patrick Mahomes is going to win MVP, or I could just bet Bobby Wood Jr. to get 2+ bases and the Royals to win, and I could get the same odds. I'll just take that. And there's no value in it over the time I'm going to have to wait for that bet to cash.
This is why same game parlays are very popular, and FanDuel loves you for that.
I'm not waiting 18 weeks I'm just telling you that based on the odds, that Bobby Wood Jr. one, even though, the same game parlay, that 2-leg parlay has just as good of a chance, if not better, to hit than Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP based on current odds.
Yeah,
and one of them, I get the enjoyment of winning today.
Royals plus 1.5 on the run line, and Bobby to get 2 hits pays $246.
Do we know why walks don't count as total bases, by the way?
It just never has been a stat in baseball. It doesn't count.
Because it's a base on, it's called a base on balls. To me,
I think if you walk and steal a base, I should get it. Well, they'd also lower your odds probably if they counted those things. But.
Correct. But it's just how the stat. I get what you're saying, Drew. Yeah, but
I've been burned on a total bases bet a couple of times because of that reason.
I could probably get better than plus 240 if I stack those two together. I'm guessing.
Well, I just said the Royals run line plus 1.5 and Bobby to get 2 hits is 248 or something.
Yeah, okay, so exactly the same as getting Mahomes.
It's right around the same number.
And look, it's nothing against this end or to say that Patrick Mahomes can't win it. Again, the narrative is on his side, but I still think you and I talked about the couple of things that you have to be a playoff team, you have to win your division. So right now, CJ Stroud, maybe he's a better bet. I feel like he's winning his division.
Before you make that Joe Burrow bet, just give me your money, please.
I'm not going to make it.
Just give me the money. Give me your money.
I'm glad you brought that up, though.
His stats are great.
I know.
Yeah,
but he has to make the postseason.
Yeah,
but now I think the narrative would help him that if they finish 10-7 and made the postseason, he might have a crack at it, is what I'm saying.
I think he has to win the division still. So he's got to.
I think there's exceptions.
He's not winning MVP.
I don't think so either.
He's not.
Look, I told you I would just put my money on Lamar. He's got the best stats with a winning team. Like, what am I supposed to?
I hear you. I just don't know. He's already won it twice in his career.
Aaron Rodgers won it 2 times in a row, like 3 years ago.
Are there Coach of the Year odds that are?
Of course, Kevin O'Connell's the heavy favorite.
I was going to say because I don't think in the same year we wouldn't see a Coach of the Year and an MVP from the same team. I don't know how many times that's happened, or if it ever has. But if the Vikings go 12-5 or 13-4, O'Connell's winning Coach of the Year. Does that mean does Darnold also win MVP? I don't know if that combination is happen.
I think it would depend on what is Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and them do. But yeah, I think has it ever happened? I don't know off the top of my head. I think you can make a case that those could go hand in hand.
Because traditionally, like the quarterback might play well, but they give the credit to the head coach as to why a lot of the times it seems like when a team overachieves, I guess, expectations sometimes.
Sometimes when I look up like the updated odds for Coach of the Year, and I'm like, are we even...
Oh, Harbaugh and Lamar, to answer your question. Harbaugh won Coach of the Year in 2019. Lamar Jackson won MVP in 2019. Yeah.
So not that long ago.
Also, Brady and Belichick, 07, 2010. Actually, there's way more. It's happened 12 times.
Really?
The amount of people ahead of Andy Reid for Coach of the Year still offends me. These are the people who currently have better odds to win Coach of the Year than Andy Reid, who is dealing with the same things we just talked about with the Mahomes narrative. His number 1 and 2 wide receivers and his number 1 running back are missing. Kevin O'Connell deserves it. He would be the Coach of the Year if I voted for it right now. Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. So it's
because his team is in first place. All right, I understand.
I'm only smiling on that one. There's a on our weekend betting show that I do for BetQL. Preseason, we had to get. He was 22-1 at one point in time, and I was like, I get that's a long shot. I'm like, but this can make sense because the expectation is so low that if he wins 9 games in DC with the rookie quarterback, he could win Coach of the Year. That was before Kevin O'Connell decided to start 5-0 with the Minnesota Vikings. But I actually talked about it and have a bet on Dan Quinn from beginning of the season at 22-1.
Sean Payton, because his team has won 3 games in a row that includes wins against like the Patriots and the Raiders. Ooh, he's really doing it now. Watch out, Sean Payton. Mike McDonald, Raheem Morris, Jim Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans, Mike Tomlin all have better odds.
Did you see, by the way, Bo Nix get at Sean Payton? They were going after it a little bit on the sideline. Like Bo Nix was yelling at Sean Payton.
I don't like. People are applauding the Broncos because they've won 3 games. I mean, do you see who they've beaten? They're not good. Bo Nix isn't good.
They did score 34 points, which is better than like 10 or whatever they did when they beat the Jets.
Yeah, I mean,
but yes.
But beating the Jets, is that like
evidently it's not that big of a deal.
He threw for 60 yards. He threw. I'm just going to tell you, Bo Nix in that win against the Jets threw for 60 yards, 6-0, not a 1 in front of it, 60-0. You know, like you know, like yeah. I guess they've won some games. They have beaten the Raiders and the Jets each of the last 2 weeks. They have played maybe the softest schedule in the league. Well, I don't know. I guess
Seattle's played a pretty soft one, too.
Seattle's starting to get a little more exposed now because of that. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots was an overtime win on a field goal or whatever. Yeah, you mentioned the Giants just now. Like, yeah, the
Giants scored 29 points against them. Almost scored 30.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
Cody, if the Giants beat the Bengals, I think I will come on the show and I will say,
"Oh boy,
there's no hope."
Okay,
I think
good. I think you don't have a choice.
That's what it would take.
I think that's if they lose again this weekend and Daniel Jones has 300 yards passing and they win.
I gotta be honest.
The Bengals, I will come on the show and say, yeah, I think the season's over.
You don't have a choice. Like, I mean, you just don't have a choice. That's
I don't know how
that's the end of the road.
I mean, I'd argue you should already be there, but I don't know how you would defend a 1-5 start and say they're fine at that.
and they've lost to the Patriots, the Commanders,
the Giants.
The Giants.
I mean, and look, the Commanders. At least that loss looks a little better now. But like,
sure,
woof. I mean, if you lose to those teams.
If Daniel Jones throws 300 yards, I'm going to be disgusted. But
did you lose to a team that's already made a quarterback change?
Watching the defense play, you know what? All options are open. Who knows?
Yeah. Patriots have already named their starting quarterback, Drake May.
That's right. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's playing the Texans. I'm excited to see what Drake May does.
Who's your guess? I want you to make a guess on which Chiefs players you think are at the Royals game tonight. Patrick Mahomes hedged.
We know it's
his bet. He said that like him and Brittany had vacation plans.
I think it's like 100% though that he's there. I really do. I think he'll be there tonight.
Travis?
No.
Okay. Who's the other?
I think he's on it. I think he's with Taylor in Florida, isn't he? Anyway,
Chris Jones.
I'll go Mahomes. Somebody from the wide receiver room.
I think Xavier Worthy might be there.
Yeah, but where's Texas college football? What's going on this week for them? Red River Shootout, whatever they call it these days.
Oklahoma.
I know that's Saturday.
Xavier, they might show up to that one. The both of them.
Somebody, I'll go Juju Smith-Schuster actually with Mahomes.
That's a good one.
And I'll go ahead and say that Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, Juju, and Mahomes are 3 players there tonight.
I like your pick. I think Mahomes. I like your pick of Juju, but I'm going to go off Kareem Hunt, and I'm going to tell you it's McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman will be the 3rd Chiefs player you see at the game. Super Bowl winning catch, playoff football. I think McCole Hardman, and look, this is not a bad thing. I also like this. I think McCole Hardman likes to be seen. I think he likes, come on. Some people like that, but I don't think Creed Humphrey likes to be seen. I don't think Creed Humphrey's like, oh, please. But I think McCole likes to be seen. So,
Drew Tranquil's a good guess. Drew Tranquil's a really good guess. I can see that. He's praised Kansas City. He was wearing a Royals powder blue jersey into the game.
Yeah.
Tranquil
He was wearing a Bo Jackson jersey?
I think it was Bo. I'm not 100%.
Okay.
Tranquil's a really good guess of who could be at the K tonight.
Doesn't Justin Reed go around to a lot of events in the city? I think because Justin Reed was at the race with Xavier Worthy, the NASCAR race. I don't know if Justin Reed would be a guy that would go to a Royals game. Maybe he pops up.
I think I would say Tranquil's like a 90% chance.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that one, but that's a good answer.
So you're
he
saying
loves KC. He might just be a lifer.
Mahomes, Tranquil, Kareem Hunt, and what was that?
My iPhone thought that.
Who's talking back there? Who are you talking to? Someone on speakerphone?
Do you have a male voice for your Siri?
I have an Australian male voice for my Siri.
Like, I don't mean to get sidetracked here for a minute, but I was like, I thought we all just kept the Siri voice. Do you ever change that? I've never changed that.
I don't know how.
You have a male Aussie?
Yeah.
As your Siri voice?
Hey, Siri. I'm not going to do anything now.
I mean, mine's just the
Siri's
normal,
under pressure. Not going to do anything.
Mine's just the normal ladies voice.
Same.
Hey, Siri. How many Super Bowls does Patrick Mahomes have?
Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls. Super Bowl.
Why is it?
Super Bowl
You like the
57.
Australian accent?
Well, I think
okay, all right.
I don't need that every time I'm asking Siri to do something for me.
Someone says, what about Andy Reid being there?
Ooh, yeah.
I could definitely see that.
I think he's tomorrow. I think Andy's a tomorrow guy.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like he'll show up. He likes to
So
spread
who's
it out.
throwing out the first pitch tonight?
Sherman?
Really?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
JJ?
No.
They never have the GM do it. Sherman? Bo? Brett?
It's George. Come on. George.
I mean, just
George
like,
Brett.
if you're gonna make me guess, it's
or do you have someone from the 14 or 15 team here? Eric Hosmer, who by the way will be on the drive this afternoon,
and we'll be at the game, obviously.
Maybe
so.
Haas. Brett and Haas make a ton of sense.
I actually think give me Locane or something. Well, the problem is I
don't think he's in town though. I know. I just
get
know.
him in town. Are you kidding me?
I know Hosmer's in town. Like we know that for a fact.
I didn't realize how many different people, by the way, between Twitch and YouTube and the people on the stream and the text line. There are a lot of people who change their voice to Siri.
The Australian accent is great. I just thought you'd have a female Australian accent.
No, I've got the male accent.
Someone says that Aussie accent, Drew, sounds like you got a fetish to me. Just saying.
There's something about the Scottish and the Aussie.
Someone said you just caused my Siri to go off. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I don't know what we were talking. I don't know. Think anything sounded like "Hey Siri" or.
Apparently,
I guess.
Be careful saying it now because now it's gonna start trying to find you again.
Says, thanks, guys. My Siri is going off now. You're welcome. It's like, hey, we could. Hey Siri. Hey Alexa. What else?
I just go with the normal. Yeah, it just depends. Oh no, hold on, you're saying it now.
Just go through all of them.
We got to be careful.
Sorry, my bad.
We're screwing up everyone's speakers.
That's right. My bad. I'm sorry.
We're messing everybody's life up. We need to avoid doing that. What is the proper amount of time to get to because when you're talking about the game, how early do you think is too early to go to the game?
6:08 first pitch. Let's take work out of the equation for a second because obviously some people just simply can't leave till after 5 o'clock. Fully understand that. So you're going to be hustling after work to get there by first pitch. Let's just act like everybody has the same opportunity to get there early in this hypothetical. I would say, to me, get there 4:30, 4:45.
Okay. I mean, they want you in your seats by 5:40.
Yeah,
so
that's what I would be doing. I'll just tell you, even for us, from a media perspective, I'm hoping to get there around 4 o'clock today. That's my plan. The goal is 4. We'll see if I make that time.
Feels about right. I still think you should just give your tickets to Drew and let him experience Kauffman Stadium for the first time.
I'll sell them to Drew.
You'll sell, but that's a lot of money.
And an even bigger discount. But
you get Drew a raise in the break too? You get him a little pay bump? A little bonus?
That would be nice. I'm looking forward to watching the game from home, to seeing the aesthetic. Somebody said Drew probably doesn't think that Kauffman is going to have a vibe. I am excited.
He's happy. They're handing out rally towels. Drew's going to be thrilled.
Playoff games love that.
I am excited to see what it looks like on TV and how it sounds on TV. I'm going to have the volume cranked up. I'm really excited to watch the game on TV. Yes.
I hope some people have been saying that the TBS broadcast, and look, you should just be listening to Denny and Ryan and Jake on 96.5 The Fan, but that the TV broadcast, TBS versus Fox, this game's on TBS. Fox has allowed the crowd noise to be
You're right.
up. TBS
Seems to be
has toned it down. And I know San Diego, I'm not saying San Diego wasn't crazy last night. It definitely was. I'm just saying that if you watch the Yankee Stadium broadcast, even after the Jazz Chisholm homer, where on visually you could see the crowd was going nuts, the audio didn't really match that. And so the K I know is going to be nuts tonight. But if you're watching on the broadcast and you're like, man, the crowd doesn't seem that loud, listen to the Fox broadcast and TBS broadcast difference from other games. And TBS, for whatever reason, has been toning down the crowd noise. I don't know why they're doing that.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I would be the one to see on TV and not notice it enough and just be like, man, it doesn't sound as loud at Kauffman. I wish that they would, because crowd noise makes something, it makes it exciting. Like when you hear the Chiefs doing the tomahawk chop and everything like that, it's exciting.
Text line seems two people's sources. Alex Gordon, first pitch. Okay, could be. We know he's in town.
Again, somebody who played in the 14 and 15 playoffs feels like the logical choice for the first pitch. And Alex Gordon does live in town, so why not?
Yeah, that's right. And I'll be asking about where the station is going to be at. So Carrington will be broadcasting live outside Gate D starting at 2. Cody and I will be there hopefully around 4 o'clock or something like that. And, if you've got a tailgate or something, some of you text in, we might stop by, say hello. Who knows? Maybe we'll even have an extra T-shirt in our back pocket. You never know.
Take some of these, the ones we handed out, shove a few in the car.
Another T-shirt or two. We got a few.
Just chuck them at people as we're walking in. They don't even ask for them.
Throw them at people.
Slugger style. I'd actually like to, we should have a Cody and Gold T-shirt cannon. I don't know why we haven't.
Sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
That investment yet.
Sounds like
up close shooting into somebody that's actually
definitely
a cool
sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Would be cool though, man. Cody and Gold logo on the side of a T-shirt gun.
Oh, it would. It'd be neat. Just firing off the T-shirt cannon would be a lot of fun. All right, up next, let's get to what's trending, and then right back into the Royals being in control, do we agree, of this series? That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm not just telling you to trust Century Roofing. I trusted them with the repairs I needed before winter comes around in Kansas City. They've been doing roofs in the Kansas City area for 34 years. 34 years. Over 30,000 roofs have been installed in the greater Kansas City area thanks to Century Roofing. Look, I trusted them because they've handled that amount of business, because they were voted Best of Johnson County 3 years in a row. I wanted someone who would come by and take care of my roof, but take care of it and know that it was taken care of for life, that they were going to have a warranty that was going to stand up over the course of time. Not someone who just came, knocked on my door after a hailstorm came through this summer and said, I got you. No, it's fine. I'll take care of it. No. You want a company you can trust and one who's been working in the Kansas City area this long and has been locally owned and operated this long. I love working with companies who've been handling their business in the area for so long because it tells me the people of Kansas City trust them. Whether you're filing a claim with your insurance experts because of the hail over the summer, or you're worried about the possible winter weather getting the end of your failing roof, Century Roofing will take care of that. They're running a material upgrade promotion right now as well. We can get a Class 3 or 4 impact-resistant shingle from Tamco for the price of a 30 or 50-year premium shingle. They can handle any kind of roof, and they're the best in the area. Schedule your estimate today from KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength and go to centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
I love this business, really. I love seeing the look on a guy's face the first time he sees the ring we created. The custom ring that's going to say to her what he can't say with words. The ring she'll show off to her family and friends and wear for the rest of her life. Yeah, I love it. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and I see a lot of it. In fact, we're having our best year ever. I love that, too. More people are trusting House of Diamonds than ever before. They come for our one-of-a-kind custom jewelry, to be sure, but they also come for a better diamond at a better price because we only carry the top 5% in each diamond grade, priced direct from the cutter. In fact, a new customer recently compared our diamond to a so-called higher graded and more expensive diamond at a store down the street. Our diamond was noticeably better in color, brilliance, and quality. No surprise. You don't last 3 decades as a family business charging more for less. House of Diamonds, still on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, because right now new customers can bet $5 and you get $300 in bonus bets if you win. All right, let's build a quick same-game parlay for Thursday Night Football, Niners and Seahawks, the NFC West matchup. I'm going to take the Niners on the money line. I'm going to take an anytime touchdown for Brandon Ayuk. It's time that he gets into the end zone. I'm also going to take Kenneth Walker under. I think the Niners do a good job in stopping the run. You can make that parlay or build your own or use one of the preset ones right there on the app. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT. Use my promo code to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan.
21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus packs which expire 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Kansas City, is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings, located off I-70 and Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, October 11th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tune in this week to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, where they break down all the headlines in the NFL. Presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on the iPhone 16 Pro.
When it comes to car buying, you deserve options. So at Volkswagen Lease Summit, we have 3 incredible promotions to pick from. Choose no payments for 90 days, 0% APR for up to 60 months, or we'll double your down up to $3,000. Pick out your car, then pick your promo at VWLeaseSummit.com.
In business, success is never by chance. You know that better than anyone. So why settle for a marketing agency that gambles with your money? At Scale Marketing, we've been in your shoes. Our founders successfully owned and operated businesses long before becoming marketers. They understand the business of, well, business. We specialize in performance marketing for mid-sized B2C companies with teams of over 100 people, from traditional and digital marketing to media buying, data science, and creative production. Scale Marketing manages it all. Our tailored strategies drive measurable growth, turning your challenges into opportunities. Imagine your company leading the market, not just participating in it. That's what we do at Scale Marketing. Don't let your business growth plateau or underperform. Scale Marketing will pinpoint exactly what you need to focus on, ensuring your success isn't left to chance. Take your business to the next level with Scale Marketing. Visit scalemarketing.com today. That's scalemarketing.com.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one, of course, is the Royals. Game 3, ALDS, Kauffman Stadium tonight. First playoff game in Kansas City since 2015, over 3,200
Game 2 of the World Series.
Days ago. It was Game 2 against the Mets in the World Series. Gates open at 3:30 this afternoon. Royals are telling people, hey, get in your seat by 5:40 for some of the pregame festivities. Vern's On Deck show is at 5. And, of course, first pitch here on your home for the Royals, 96.5 The Fan. That's at 6:08 with Seth Lugo getting the nod.
Gates at 3:30. Boy, by the time we get out there, people are going to be pouring into Kauffman Stadium. I love it. Next up on What's Trending, Nico Collins was placed on injured reserve today by the Houston Texans. Nico currently leads the NFL in receiving yardage, so that's a pretty big loss for them. He went from day to day, according to D'Amico Ryans, to week, to according to D'Amico Ryans, to out for at least 4 weeks in the span of about 12 hours over there in Houston. So he'll miss at least the next 4 games with a hamstring injury. Could be longer, obviously, but that's a big loss for the Houston Texans. I haven't looked at their schedule, but losing the NFL's leading wide receiver feels like maybe not a small deal.
Yeah, definitely going to make things a little more challenging for C.J. Stroud.
So
this
many
is
injuries this year.
always
Is it
the
more than
reminder.
normal?
It feels like bigger
I don't know,
names.
man.
It feels like bigger names, but also this is for what the Texans are going through is a reminder, and why it's so impressive what the Chiefs have done during this run in their dynasty. Is like it is really hard to have everybody stay healthy consistently for multiple years and overcome that. The Chiefs have done that for a few of these years. They're facing another challenge this year. The Texans are going to have to see, can they overcome that? Massive expectations, but now they have an injury. Last year, Tank Dell got hurt. They overcame that and won a playoff game.
Yeah.
Nico Collins, though, is a huge part of that offense.
I just wonder, like, if you'd put any other team in the situation, they had to play the same 5 schedules, but the Texans were without Nico Collins for all 5 of those games. Oh, and also they're starting running back for all 5 of those games. Oh, and also Tank Dell or their number 2 wide receiver. Would they be 3-1, 4-1? No, probably not.
Texans have the Patriots, Packers, Colts, Jets next 4. Not that
Okay,
tough.
well, that's
not that tough, but
not that bad.
Colts defense is just horrendous. Next up on What's Trending elsewhere in Major League Baseball, National League Divisional Series last night. How about the Padres and Dodgers game? It was just
How did the run stop after that? A grand slam to make it a 1-run game, and then there was just never another run?
Yeah, it was incredible to watch the energy in that ballpark. And so here's where things set up elsewhere in baseball. We already know what the Royals do. We got 4 games today, all right? 4 games. First one is coming up around 2 o'clock. That's the Guardians and Tigers series, also knotted up at a game apiece. That one in Detroit. I think it's their first playoff game at home in 10 years, so kind of similar to the Royals in that regard. Then Phillies and the Mets, 4 o'clock or so this afternoon. The late game tonight will be the Dodgers and Padres. So the Royals' second to last game of the evening.
We'll get a couple of results before the Royals. Obviously, we're interested in what takes place in Game 3 of Cleveland and Detroit. Is if the Royals went on to win this series, they would have a chance to host ALCS Game 1 if for some reason it was the Tigers that went through. Next up on What's Trending, Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers have now made statements on the saga of firing Robert Saleh. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show, said that he resents anyone suggesting any of the reporting that says he was the reason behind Saleh being fired. There's multiple reports that suggest that Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers spoke at some time after the Nathaniel Hackett rumors started to circle that Robert Saleh might have either been taking him off of his duties or just getting rid of him altogether. Woody Johnson says the decision was his and his alone over there in New York. Anyone buying?
No.
Anyone buying? Anyone buyers? Anybody? No. We all think that Aaron Rodgers played some part in this?
Had to have. Directly, I think, but obviously indirect. At the very least, indirectly, just by.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear.
But I gotta be honest, I think directly.
I
Aaron
think
Rodgers
there
has
was
also
some-
lied before. Like he's been caught lying.
He has?
Before. Yes, he's been caught lying before.
I can't recall that ever happening.
Anytime you're getting paid that much, I feel like you are part of the decision as the quarterback anyways, but yeah, it's definitely Aaron was probably like, yeah, get this guy out of here. It's time.
Give me a phone record. Prove to me via phone record you didn't talk to each other. Then I'll buy it.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. In 20 minutes, we check in with our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, get his perspective on playoff baseball being back in Kansas City. He's got his On Deck show at 5 o'clock out at Kauffman, and cannot wait to listen to that. For those of you, maybe you're driving into the stadium, you're tailgating in the parking lot, 96.5 The Fan. Of course, you're home for Kansas City sports. So thinking of that, I mentioned Joel Goldberg tweeted out 3,268 days since that last playoff game. And you're right, it was game 2 of the World Series against the New York Mets. We all know how that series went.
You were...
I was in Topeka. I was working in Topeka. It was my second job out of college.
24? Were you living at your parents' house?
I was living in Topeka.
Living in Topeka. Had a dope downtown loft in Topeka?
Has anybody ever uttered those words?
We're going to piss somebody off here who's from Topeka. I'm not trying to trash the whole city.
I told you, I actually, from a job perspective, I actually really did enjoy my time in Topeka from a work perspective. The city, you know, there was a few things, but yeah, anyway.
Didn't love the city.
Careful.
Well, it was way better than Wichita. I've told you about that.
Yeah, you hated Wichita, so. Yeah. Was it better than Houston?
Again, personal experience. I got robbed in Houston at gunpoint.
Yeah,
so,
but Houston probably has more stuff to do.
But Houston, from things to do, and the food scene was terrific.
It might have more. It does. It might. Houston's like the 4th biggest city in the state. In the
yeah,
US,
it's mass traffic was terrible and everything down there.
I mean, 9 years ago, I was barely over 30. That was a different lifetime ago. I was like,
time flies, man.
31 years old. I had no kids. The last time I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. Last time the Royals played a game at Kauffman Stadium, I didn't have a kid. My wife might not even have been pregnant.
Yeah,
it's probably close.
Back then, man, all the kids were getting.
Actually, now that I'm backtracking the number here, she might have just been getting pregnant about time. This whole playoff Royals game must have been good luck for me.
Was your you didn't name your?
Hold on, wait.
Hold on, but you
What's 9 months after today? Can somebody do the quick math for me?
You did not.
That's like July. My daughter was born in June. Pretty close on that timing.
Well, there were stories. There were a lot of
Royals babies.
Royals babies. Yeah, I mean it
happened. I was on that trend.
That happens.
Sure.
I also think at that time we remember everybody's getting the Haas cut. Right now, we're talking about Mahomes or Bobby Wood Jr. haircuts, and the kids are getting the Bobby Wood Jr. like mullet. But back then, it was the Haas.
Yeah.
That was every TV station was doing stories on how popular the Haas cut was, and all that was the whole thing, man. In 2014 and 15.
If the Royals win the World Series this year, will you get the Haas? Even though
that wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, that makes no sense.
Honestly, your hair's not long enough. To get the Bobby too. You need much longer hair.
It's time to get.
If I remember right, Rye when she was dyeing my hair. We asked her what a popular haircut. She said every kid wants.
Sure.
They want a mullet. They want.
Of course.
They want the Bobby cut.
Yeah, and there will be, depending on how this playoff run goes, there will be kids that are named after some of these Royals players. It happens. I mean,
hell, Ben Zobrist named his own kid after the Royals.
I remember that.
He gave his kid the middle name Royal.
I hope he's doing. well.
Haven't heard from Ben Zobrist.
Yeah, I hope he's doing all right.
Yeah. Glad he was a playoff hero, man.
For sure.
Bit rocky for him after that, but.
That's what I mean. That's what I said. I hope things are going good for him.
I hope so,
really
too.
Do. Talk about where we're at, though, with this game tonight and just everything on the line, of course. This is a series that's evened up, but the Royals are in the driver's seat. It doesn't guarantee them a win or anything, but you split in New York. That was the goal, really, for I think a lot of people. Find a way to split, come back to the K. You get 2 home games. If everything went well today, you could be in position to clinch on your home turf tomorrow out at Kauffman. That's the dream scenario, and that's in position because of what they did on Monday night. And you mentioned just historically with where we're at and how young you were and we all were 10 years ago. Salvador Perez, some of those photos circulating of a young, skinny Salvador Perez from 2014 and 15, and the photo of him and Alcides Escobar with Michael Garcia, who was like, 10.
Yeah.
Or I guess he would have been like 12 probably at that time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he looks every bit of like 7 in the photo. I just think that the Royals are in control of this series. And what I want to see tonight is them maintain that control. There are 3 games left in this series. So this is right back to the wild card series. There's a 3-game series now. Erase what happened before. I don't care what Bobby Wood Jr. did before. I don't care that Cole Reagans didn't go deep. It's a 3-game series, and 2 of those games are at Kauffman Stadium, where the Royals were one of the best home teams in baseball this year, where offensively they have been significantly better this season. Bobby Wood Jr.'s been better. Vinny Pasquantino's been better. Salvador Perez. They've all been better hitters at Kauffman Stadium. Now, the pitchers have been a little bit worse. Lugo tonight actually has an ERA about a full run north of where they were on that end. But they have been a better team at home, and they have control of the series. And honestly, if you go back and listen to that Jazz Chisholm clip, who I assume is going to be heavily booed.
Boo Jazz.
Tonight.
Raz Jazz. Jazz's ass.
We don't care which hashtag you use, honestly, but boo him. Boo his ass. But when you look at what he said, I think that's because they were rattled. I think he said it because he's like, oh, we're fine. I'm fine. You've had a buddy in your group who'd be like, hey, man, you okay? I'm good. That might have been Drew like 2 weeks ago when we were talking Bengals. I'm fine. Like, people just get louder or more intense. Yeah. That was a tough week. But, like, people just get louder and more intense, and you're like, you don't sound fine. You actually sound like you sound like you're on the edge. That's how I take Jazz Chisholm's comments, don't you? They know that they've lost control of this series.
I do think I will say this about Jazz Chisholm. He's a very confident individual, and he's always not afraid to go out there and talk. Part of that is his personality. But we said it, why give Royals fans in particular? I don't think the team is going to take much about Jazz's lucky comment as much as fans will. I think the team took the Carlos Rodon, sticking his tongue out. That kind of stuff was more of what they took. Cole Reagan staring down Soto because Soto stares down everybody.
Yeah, so why can't it be the other way?
That kind of stuff is what the team leans in on. I don't think Jazz Chisholm's 1 second at the end of a post-game press conference or setting saying the Royals got lucky is something the team necessarily will feed off of as much as that's what the K is going to feed off of tonight. The Royals fans out there this evening will always remember that and are well aware of that comment. Hell, I would argue that the video crew, for Crown Vision crew, I should say, should put up either a graphic or play that end of the clip or something before the game, just for the fans to get all fired up, and a reminder. You can do everything. I mean, we know how pregame probably is going, right? They're going to show Patrick Mahomes on the video board this evening. He's going to fire the crowd up. They're probably going to hopefully place a quote or something from Jazz Chisholm. They'll show Salvi sticking his tongue out after Rodon was sticking his tongue out.
They'll show a highlight of the last time this team was at the K.
And the crowd is going to get amped, and it's going to be incredible tonight out at Kauffman Stadium.
That's it. I mean, the atmosphere is second to none. I haven't been to a lot of playoff games in other cities, admittedly. I've watched plenty on television over the time. I've been to a lot of Chiefs playoff games. Some of this might just be because of what 14 was. And you and I talked about this. The very beginning of this postseason run, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it in the city the same way I felt it in 14 and 15. That first 3-game wild card series, I wasn't sure. Oh, I feel it now. Everywhere you go, Royals gear, everyone talking Royals, everybody ready to go to the Royals game. Maybe it wasn't there in the early stages, but it's here now. They're knotted up at 1 game apiece, and 2 games are about to be back-to-back days at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. But I do think that they have control of the series. I think they took control of the series by getting that win because you and I both knew what is still true, which is getting a split in New York was a massive win. It's a huge win for the Royals. Either way, some team was going to have to win 2 of the next 3.
Yep.
But now you're at home. The pitching is better for you because the next 3 starters the Royals throw out there are Lugo versus Schmidt, advantage Royals. Walker versus Cole, okay, still advantage Yankees like it was before. And then you get Reagans in Game 5, if needed, if the Royals can't do it. What I want to see, I'm so desperate for a win tonight. I just want Bobby Wood Jr. to hit a home run. The K go crazy.
It doesn't have to be a home run,
man. The
man.
Royals win with a chance to clinch a spot in the ALCS tomorrow. Please. Please, that's what I need it like I need air to breathe, if we're being honest.
It doesn't even have to be a home run, man. I think after going 0 for 10 to start this series, Bobby Wood Jr. is coming through tonight in some form or fashion. I don't know if it's a home run, Cody. I don't know if it's just a game-winning RBI double. Something special, and that's what's cool. We played highlights to start the show today from a mix of the current series, but also that Game 2 of the World Series in 2015. And I love playing highlights from 14 and 15. Those are fun. Those are memories that we will have forever, right? But you know what? Like, I'm kind of at the same time sick of having to only play 14 and 15 highlights. I want to be able to next year be talking about the playoff game in 2024. I want to be talking about Bobby Wood Jr.'s big hit at Kauffman Stadium. I want to be talking about Lucas Erceg getting out of a jam because they brought him in the 8th inning and they needed some help, and he gets a 5-out save if necessary, whatever it may be. Even like I want to be talking about those moments where the crowd goes crazy, in that we don't have to only look back 10 years ago.
Yes, I mean, again, that's the whole point. I want a Bobby Wood Jr. homer to be alongside Alex Gordon tying it off of Juris Familia in the 9th inning. We already have some of those, right? Like, we're going to remember some of these plays as we kind of go through this thing, but they only build up, right? We still remember Bautista throwing to second and Kane coming around, but we remember even more Hosmer's mad dash home in order to score it. So some of these early memories are starting to build up a little bit, right? Salvador Perez sticking his tongue out on Carlos Rodon will be a memory that sticks with me from this playoff run, no matter how long it goes. I will remember that moment as him sticking it to them at least for a moment. But you know this, and we've learned this a lot from the Chiefs, which is the moments seem to fade quicker if you don't make a deep run. We remember the 13-second game and Patrick Mahomes going Grim Reaper, but we don't talk about it the same way as we talk about Jet Chip Wasp or the plays that ended in the glory. So, like, I want more of those moments so that I can appreciate them in time.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll check in with Josh Vernier. He obviously was there at 14 and 15. We'll get his perspective on what Kauffman is going to be like this evening. And what does he make of Clark Schmidt? I mean, that's a name that I had never said before out loud until today, basically. But he's pitching for the Yankees, and in a small sample size, 90 innings or so, he's actually been really, really good. Are we in for a pitcher's duel tonight? We'll talk to Vern more about what the Royals might be looking at this evening. But let's briefly get to all 32. And here's the thing. I haven't mentioned it in a couple weeks, guys. I was like, you know what? I will honor your guys' wishes, and I'll wait. You know, during preseason, I was pretty passionate about the kickoff rule, and I felt like it was still a waste of time and that it wasn't going to change much. And I said, all right, let's wait.
I told you I'd wait till the first week. I told you this week.
We're 5 weeks in. We're 5 weeks in. Can we just be honest? It really hasn't changed anything, guys. It just hasn't done anything.
Looks a little different.
It definitely looks weird, okay? That's what it looks like. It looks weird. Dynamic kickoffs through 4 weeks. These are 4-week numbers. The league-wide rate of returning kickoff is 29%. Now, if you're getting really specific, you're like, well, that's an increase, sure, from 17%. It's 29% is still not what they were hoping. It's still the third lowest return rate since 2000. It has not worked. More than 2/3 of kickoffs have gone for touchbacks. As we discussed, coaches are going to say, hey, why would I even risk the opportunity? Let them have the ball at the 30. Why even let them have a big return? And that's what coaches have decided to do. And I think unless the NFL in the offseason decides to make the touchback a 35 or 40-yard penalty, have it at the 35 or 40, then this is going to continue. So dynamic kickoff, there is nothing dynamic about it. Kind of predicted this was going to happen. They didn't go far enough with it, and it's a waste of time still.
So I'd like to think that there's some difference, but that's the only thing. Either get rid of kickoff altogether, put the ball at the 30-yard line, and let's save ourselves some time in our life where kickoffs just no longer exist, or punish it so bad that they don't have a choice but to force the action. Those are the only two remaining options. I'm going to go on the Jet side. Not with Aaron Rodgers at the moment, but instead with the continued desperation of a loser franchise who's never won anything. Did you see the most recent plea? Woody Johnson yesterday, after all this stuff happened, Saleh gets fired. Everyone feels like it's Aaron Rodgers who's doing it. They're 2-3. They're playing for first place. They're desperate. Their quarterback's 1 million years old, and Woody Johnson is now officially taken to begging Hassan Reddick to end his holdout. Like, dude, please, I'm begging you. Please get back on the field. We need one more good player on this team in order to make it do it. I think it's because he knows he's trading for Devontae Adams, and he had to do it. I got a real quick suggestion for Woody Johnson. Pay him. You could have just paid him. Nobody knew it was a mystery that when Hassan Reddick got traded, he didn't and was going to hold out from the team that he was on because he wanted a contract extension. This was not unknown to the Jets. This was not a mystery to the Jets. Maybe they got sticker shock, but that's why a lot of teams don't work out these trades until they got a contract deal in place with the player.
Yeah, at least agreed in principle.
The Jets begging Hassan Reddick to just show up now week 6 later. Okay, like I still think he'll show up at some point because otherwise he just loses a year of control.
How much was it costing him to a game?
Oh, it's cost him a ton, and he's got about 2 more weeks, I think, to show up before he doesn't get the accrued year. he's still going to want to be a free agent and be a good player, but he's not going to just show up now because Woody Johnson asks him nicely.
No, yeah, I'm with that. Joe Flacco, guys, his name keeps on coming up because he's backing up the right teams, apparently, who either have injuries or whatever the case is at quarterback, and he comes in and saves the day. He's got 5 touchdowns, no picks. He's averaging the 8th most passing yards a game in the games that he's played in. Is he a top 15 quarterback? I feel like he is. I don't know if we can say that.
He's better than about 10 starters in the league.
He's absolutely as good as a starting quarterback.
15's too high.
Top 15.
He's a better starter, right? Like if you just said we have to win today, a game today. He's better than the guy. He's better than the guy he's backing up. Like if you just had to win a game today, he's better than Anthony Richardson. I'd still go Richardson long term.
Is he better than Trevor Lawrence?
Maybe. Yeah.
Is he better than Derek Carr?
I'd probably give Carr the edge there, but barely. He's better than
Joe Flacco's not the 15th best quarterback.
Watson. He's better
I don't
than
know who else is skating around 15 right now, if you would say, but
yeah, 15's probably a little high, but he's better than a lot of starters.
He's been good. I know the Colts haven't won because the defense stinks.
Yeah, that defense is 32nd in the NFL. Like, they are as bad as it gets.
The worst franchise.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, but it happens. Everybody has injuries right now.
Yeah, what team doesn't? The Chiefs are without their number 1 and number 2 wide receiver.
You know who doesn't? Sorry,
Cincinnati.
Drew. You know who doesn't? Huh? Cincinnati.
That's kind of embarrassing.
That's who's actually healthy.
What the hell's going on?
Hang on.
They're healthy.
They got their starting running back, their starting wide receivers, their quarterbacks playing. Like, what the hell's their deal?
Well, the defense stinks, and they're dealing with defensive injuries. Like Dax tore his ACL. Mike Hilton's been out. The defensive line is
okay.
Nobody cares about those. We only pay attention to the offense.
That is all 32 in the NFL. Up next, it's time to get right back into the Royals here on a playoff baseball Wednesday in Kansas City. Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, tells us what to expect from the Yankees side of things a little bit here with this Royals lineup right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
This year, FanDuel is giving you a chance to win big every Thursday night with FanDuel Squares. It's the same Super Bowl Squares game you've always known, only way better. That's because your numbers aren't just going to be randomly assigned. No, you can actually pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like, and you'll get to see the odds beforehand, and you can bet them live during the game. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Alex and bet on Squares. Plus, if you're new to FanDuel, you can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our 2 soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other. And for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
My name is Michael, and I am a Centric graduate. I was burnt out at my sales job and just going through the motions. I decided it was finally time to stop putting it off and make a change in my life. Centric's hands-on training and fast program was the step that I needed. I graduated with the certifications and real-world experience to get a career in tech. I got a job and haven't looked back, only to a better future. Don't put it off any longer. Visit Centric.com to take control of your future. That's Centric.com.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Let's face it. Nowadays, most companies have to rely on dozens of expensive, disconnected platforms to run their business. And even then, things can get a little, well, stressful. But with Odoo's all-in-one management software, packed with a suite of fully integrated business applications, every process is streamlined. Tasks are automated, and success is just a few clicks away. See how Odoo can take your business to the next level at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
I'm at a smoothie bar, asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino when KC travels to Vegas. Calling all KC football fans to Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October as we huddle up at Overhang Bar, catching some of the game day action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge at Stadium Swim. Book your experience today. Visit CircaLasVegas.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Couple things during the break. Eric Hosmer just put out a video through his media company. He's throwing out the first pitch tonight. We were guessing. He was one of the guesses. Makes a lot of sense. We know he's in KC, so that'll be a really cool moment. Get the crowd fired up. Eric Hosmer throwing out the first pitch tonight. We also saw the lineup is out. Michael Massey leading off. That's the change at the top of the order. Garcia still in the lineup. I guess the one thing that stands out for some will be that Adam Frazier is playing right field to begin the game. But you and I were talking in the break that I guess is by the 7th or 8th inning. Most likely he will probably not be still in the lineup. I'm assuming we'll have a pinch hitter at that point in time. Let's talk a little bit more about that with Josh Vern, our Royals insider. His on-deck show gets you all set for Game 3 tonight, 5 o'clock here on your home for the Royals, 96.5 The Fan. I'll start there, Vern. I mean, the lineup makes a lot of sense if you think about the pitching matchup and also the flexibility that they have later in the game.
Yeah, Adam Frazier saw Clark Schmidt a lot last season playing for Baltimore in the AL East. Put up some good numbers, has some recent ABs. And listen, Adam Frazier probably made the defensive highlight of the season for the Royals. One of the best defensive teams in all of baseball. The play of the year, right? Wasn't that Frazier's robbery in right field in Detroit, I believe it was?
Yeah, I think that was. But I mean, I think some people look at this and they're like, heat check, right, by Q, where he's been doing it. But I just don't think he wants to change the way he manages a lineup based on that. I think it was you, Vern, who had mentioned a conversation with J.J. Piccolo, and we've heard this from J.J. ourselves, which is, when he got to the organization and Q started doing funky things in the lineup, J.J. was partially like, what the hell are you doing here? And he's like, you know what, actually, it's probably better that people are thinking outside the box, and we're not all starting to think the same way here as a group. We got to look at it differently. Isn't that kind of how you view it? I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
This is who Q's been all season. Yeah. He's played the numbers, the odds, the matchups. That's what he said at his introductory press conference. I understand there are some Royals fans that still haven't recognized that were complaining about MJ Melendez being pinch hit for, and then they were complaining that MJ Melendez wasn't a pinch hit. This is what Q's been doing all season, and you guys hit it on the head. Yeah, Frazier, by the end of the game, you're hoping that he's replaced in right field with a defensive upgrade. Not that he is bad, but Hunter Renfroe's arm, maybe Tommy Pham. We'll see what kind of adjustments are made pertaining to the arms that Aaron Boone brings out late.
There's a lot of things to be excited about and moments that could happen tonight, but I'm still, for me, the aerial shot for those that are watching on TV or if you're going to be at the game, that opening shot of everybody standing up with their rally towels that they're going to get tonight, and those shots are some of the coolest to kick off a game. What are you expecting tonight out at Kauffman, having been there in 14 and 15?
Yeah, I'm expecting hopefully a duplication of those scenes. I'm interested to see how many Yankees fans are in the building. If the Yankees, tie the game up or take an early lead, I'll be interested to see how much noise they're making. That moment that you talk about, that aerial shot, normally that is preceded by a big countdown on Crown Vision. You're about to go live to the National. They do it at Chiefs games as well.
Sure.
What I'm excited to see is, you mentioned Eric Hosmer, and he, points to that moment where everyone standing on that first baseline is dealing with butterflies. But what Haas and even Salvy's talked about is when they first came out onto the field in the wild card game, just to stretch, just to get a feel for the atmosphere. It was already a different buzz in the stadium. I can't tell you how many people have asked me over the past year. This is the only time the Royals have been good.
Sure.
But I can't tell you how many people have asked, man, did this game tonight against the Cardinals or Dodgers or Yankees, did this feel like Kauffman Stadium in the postseason? And my answer is always respectfully no, because the buzz in the parking lots just carries into the stadium, and it begins. Gates open today at 3:30. That buzz, I want to see it present by 3:45. That gets enough people in the building to carry that. Everyone knows the buzz that happens at the tailgates for every Chiefs game. It's that with a bit more anxiety in the Royals tailgate prior to an October game, and then it's just unbridled joy waiting to be uncorked inside the stadium. So that's what I'm excited. I'm excited for 3:45 to 4 o'clock to feel that buzz that hasn't been here in nearly a decade.
Vern, for the people who watch baseball regionally, which is pretty much 99% of society, is Clark Schmidt any good? I looked at his season numbers from last year that kind of stunk, 4.5, 5 earned run average roughly. This year he's been quite a bit better in a limited amount of starts. Is Clark Schmidt any good?
He's been good, yeah. I don't know if that necessarily makes me believe that he's going to be good tonight. You know, if he has his command, yeah, he could carve this lineup up because he doesn't throw anything straight. It's cutters and sinkers and sweepers and curveballs. But if he doesn't have his command and the Royals can showcase the patience of a Yuli Gurriel or what we've seen so far this October from Michael Massey, if you can make Clark Schmidt come to you, now credit to the Yankees. I think they've been doing a really good job of this as well. You need to give me something to hit. The pressure's on the pitcher. If the Royals can take that approach to the plate, if you don't see Bobby and Vinny, if you don't see them expand the zone, they could have Clark Schmidt out of this game in the fourth inning. But obviously you don't want him to get confidence. I understand Carlos Rodon had confidence in the first inning and it didn't work out for him. I think Clark Schmidt hopefully learned a lesson from that goofball back on Monday.
I looked it up, Vern. This year, Clark Schmidt has only gotten into the sixth inning twice. So he typically is a guy who goes a little bit shorter. Yankees,
and they have Luis Heel, who is another nasty right-hander, a guy that I thought actually might get this start coming into the series. They'll be able to rely on him for one, maybe twice through the lineup if needed as well. So, neither team can stick with the guy if he's not showing you the goods the first time through. I wouldn't be surprised to see either manager go to the bullpen by the fourth or the fifth. Let's hope that's not the case for Seth Lugo, but we've seen Matt Quatraro already pulled the ripcord twice on Waka and Lugo.
If he does that earlier...
Waka and Reagans, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Because they have a game tomorrow, Vern, and I know the guys can pitch on back-to-back days and they're off on Friday. If he has to go to the bullpen in the fourth, is it a greater likelihood that we would see a name like Singer or Lynch in that case?
Yeah, you would think so. If not tonight, then likely tomorrow. But again, everyone's available to throw as many pitches as humanly possible. I mean, honestly, Lucas Ursek coming in a big spot in the fifth or sixth inning, right? If Aaron Judge is up there, Ursek didn't see them on Monday's game. I thought Q did a nice job of letting Bubic get the Soto and Judge at bats, and they got an opportunity to see Ursek in game one. They got some Bubic in game two. You can come back with the big arm tonight in the biggest spot of the game, wherever it may be.
Our conversations with Vern are brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you, baseball fans. I know not just Cody, because he asked you about Singer and Lynch, but I've heard that from a lot of people. Like, when are we going to see them? Why does everybody want to see either of them so bad? It's a good thing if they're not pitching. What are we like? Oh my gosh, we haven't seen Brady Singer. Who cares? I don't need to see Brady Singer this series.
I don't need to see Lucas Ursek. If Seth Lugo wants to spin Johnny Cueto, go for it. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. We at times, Bobby Witt Jr., 0 for 5. Vinny Pasquantino, 0 for 4 with 3 punch-outs back on Monday, and you won the game. Now, I'm not going to say that the Royals need to feel lucky, but you, again, should feel that those guys are primed for a breakout, that Seth Lugo is ready to remind the baseball world what he's done all season, and it might be very much needed if the bullpen or the defense or if Salvi are the complementary pieces that have been picking the boys up so much in this series. If those guys return to form, well, you're going to need your stars to be stars, and the stars tonight, Bobby, Lugo, Vinny, Salvi, you know the names.
Vern, I had mentioned, I think advanced baseball people have taken away from this stat in general, and honestly, during the regular season, I don't know that it contributes to like win after win after win. But it feels like if you're willing to build your team around the ability to run the bases and then it actually leads to a postseason team, I don't think it's helping them nearly as much in the regular season as it feels like it helps them now. When half of your lineup can run and like 2 guys in the Yankees lineup can force a bag, it feels like that's a massive advantage. Like even Gurriel has done a really good job running the bases for the Royals. How big of an advantage has that been in this series to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the main reasons why I think this team finished with, 86 victories. Again, we talked about it all summer long, pitching, defense, and team speed. It's what allowed them to have a middle-of-the-road offense for most of the season, to have a bad bullpen because they respected 90 feet, right? They took that extra 90 feet, and as we've seen throughout the postseason, you're facing good pitching. And if the pitcher you're facing suddenly is no good, well, there's another good pitcher coming out of the bullpen. So when you get on base, you better value that 90 feet. Again, the reason why you lost Game 1 to the Yankees is because Jazz Chisholm got that extra 90 feet and scored on Verdugo's opposite field single. The margin for error is so very slim in October. How many times have you heard the old adage, in October, a walk feels like a rally? That's because, a walk never feels like a rally of the regular season, but when everything is so nip and tuck, everything is of the utmost importance. Making the routine plays. I heard you guys talking about it earlier. We remember every round of that 2015 postseason because of a defensive miscue, right? Correa, Bautista, Daniel Murphy, Lucas Duda. It's the little things that ultimately decide who wins it all.
Tighter zone, would you attribute to that? What's going on with the Royals? Or just an inability to throw strikes? They've walked the leadoff batter in like 60% of the innings they've played this postseason.
Yeah, I think that goes back kind of what I was saying that I want to see from the Royals tonight. I think the Yankees have done a really good job of making Royals pitching come to them. And if you're not going to give me something to hit, I'm going to take my walk. And the Yankees were among the best in all of baseball this season in base on balls. So Royals need to execute better on the mound, and I certainly expect Seth Lugo to be able to tantalize those Yankees hitters with his 8, 9, 12 pitch arsenal. The question again to me, it's about Clark Schmidt. I have no worries that Seth Lugo will throw strikes. The defense behind him needs to make all the routine plays and a few spectacular plays. Can Clark Schmidt command the zone? That'll likely, in my opinion, be the difference in this game tonight.
Josh Vern, you're our Royals insider. He'll join us again tomorrow on the show, and you can hear him this afternoon, early evening, 5 o'clock, right here on 96.5 The Fan. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Vern will get you guys set for Game 3 of this series this evening. First pitch, 6:08, but he's on at 5 and must listen to as you're driving home from work today, if you're driving out to Kauffman Stadium.
You're sitting out in the parking lot.
Whatever, man.
Do you think Lugo's going to step up tonight? Because I don't want to see another he doesn't quite have it, so here comes the bullpen in the fifth. They need a 6-7 inning start out of a starter at some point this postseason to win series.
To be 7.
6, though.
But based off it not being an off day tomorrow, and what they have gotten from the bullpen, I still think you're playing a little with fire a little bit with Angel Zerpo, where it's like, hey, so 2 out of his 3 he's delivered. I just think.
Do you want to find out if it's
not
4
the
or 5?
Fifth? Honestly, at this point, Seth Lugo, with the way Q's managing it, if he makes it through 5, that's a really good sign. That means because I think that the leash is just shorter for Q right now because he feels great about his bullpen. I think, which
we
is
talked
fine.
about going in, we didn't want too short of a leash for the starting pitchers.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty short.
Lugo's a vet, but all these guys are vets at this point, other than Reagan. So, Lugo and Waka vet, and they are both vets, and they were willing to move on from them pretty quick in the postseason. Aren't you more encouraged if you're Q after what the bullpen just did for you for the other night? That's why I'm I think if it's the 5th inning, or at least if it's the 6th, it's 5 1/3 innings, and all of a sudden there's there's nobody out and there's a runner on first and Judge is up next and it's the 3rd time through the order. It wouldn't surprise me if they go right back to the pen again.
That's the biggest challenge is at what point of the lineup are you in when you're still battling in the 5th? Is it you got a runner on and it's getting ready to be Soto and Judge? Well, then he probably is going to go to the bullpen and risk those guys going up there. But if you keep throwing the same guys, it's not like they haven't seen these guys now. Soto's gotten plenty of looks at Zerpa.
Mm-hmm.
He's got plenty of looks at a lot of these bullpen arms. That's what Vern said was actually kind of nice about the other day is they didn't give him a free look at Urseg. They let Bubic handle the order of the lineup the last time. So tonight, it would only be the 2nd time they got a chance to take a look at Urseg, and I like that.
For Lugo, you just cut these walks.
They've won 8 people
back-to-back
2 games in a row,
yeah.
man.
And
Can we have it?
Sets the
4
tone.
maybe?
It sets the tone of that first inning or so. Can you avoid? Frankly, can you avoid a walk if you're Lugo in the first inning? And that'll
2 innings, something.
Just gives you a much better feel at that point. Pitch count, of course, yes, but just in general, and the Yankees deserve some credit for that, as Vern was saying. They're being very patient.
But they lost
plate.
him 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't cost him game 2, but the 8 walks That specifically was the single biggest stat that cost him game one.
Well, it was
They
Zerpa
walked
in the
in 2
fifth inning.
runs.
In the fifth inning, he couldn't throw a strike. They couldn't get it out, couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah, and if that's you just can't play that game. You can't. That's playing with fire. Because we can talk about all the time that Aaron Judge has the highest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball postseason history, or that he has one of the lowest OPSs for anyone who's played as many postseason games. All those are true. He has still run into 12 homers. So it's not that he's never hit a homer in the postseason. He definitely has. And I don't want to play with fire that the guy you walk in front of Judge the one wrong time is the one that eventually gets sent into the seats. He hits a homer off you, make sure it's just him on base. Make sure you didn't put 2 guys on base for free, or at least make them earn it. Make them get on base via single, make them get on base via double. Make them put themselves on base. Don't just give them free pass. 16 walks in 2 games is nuts. That's way,
And yet the series is
many.
tied up. A game apiece, and it's back in Kansas City. And the next 2 nights have a chance to even clinch on your own field if you take care of business this evening. That sets that up for tomorrow out at Kauffman Stadium. Of course, in the 1 o'clock hour today, we'll get right back into the single biggest decision that allowed the Royals to even get to this point. We'll open up the phones again. Maybe you're heading out to the K early. Want to hear from you guys, 913-586-7965. But in the meantime,
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Over on the text line, 913-586-7965. You can, of course, hit us up on our video stream, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, where we'll comment, take a look at those. You can like and subscribe us over there. We live stream the show 4 hours every day, actually 12 hours now, all 3 shows over on the live stream. The question I have for you today is directly related to what you talked about. You said baseball's not a tailgating sport. So the question I have today is, for the people who do tailgate at one, both, don't usually tailgate at baseball games, but will this time is, do the menus look different? And if they do, what's different about it? So I want to know what is different about your tailgating menu than what might exist in a Chiefs game. 913-586-7965. Do you expect different cuisine? Do you prepare different cuisine? Is it just hot dog and hamburgers? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think my guess is, Chiefs, you may want to get there early enough. You're smoking some ribs. You might be doing some things like that. I think this is a hot dog and brat and burger type of thing.
This is a 45-minute, as quick as you can put some food on the grill.
Thing. Yeah, I think it's a hot dog. I'm not saying there's not one single person out there listening that's been smoking ribs all day. Of course, there's somebody. I'm saying if you're tailgating a majority of people for this game, I'm guessing it's a hot dog, burger, brat type of thing. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's just the aesthetic of having a dog or whatever sort of.
But you can get that inside the building.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
I know.
I can technically get a brisket sandwich inside Arrowhead Stadium.
T over on Twitch said more elaborate, said hot dog, chips, etc. for baseball. Keep it simple.
I don't know if you wanted to do anything like more, not necessarily exotic, but I don't know, have like
a slider. We can't get like a buffalo chicken slider or something.
That or like some tacos. I don't know. There's a way.
Tacos.
Oh yeah.
Are tacos a tailgate food?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
I love tacos.
We got great tacos in Kansas City.
I love tacos. I don't know if I consider that a tailgating.
I mean, I would eat a taco if someone had one at a tailgate today.
Text line, I shotgun a lot less beers for Royals games, I can tell you that.
Well, it's less time. That's the other part of it. People get to those Chiefs games. We see that same video every time where James Palmer comes driving up the side near the practice facility. He's like, 14 hours before the gates open, here's 72 people waiting in line to get inside the building. But it sounds like, for the most part, people are like, no, hot dogs and brats. Hot dogs, brats, hamburgers.
Just conventional.
It's just those things. They say it's barbecue when you're talking about Chiefs. A lot more like ribs or burnt ends or pulled pork chicken, or pulled pork sandwiches, chicken sandwiches. Say they're going more all out, it sounds like, for Chiefs games. Versus in this case, it sounds like most people are fine with just a hot dog or a hamburger.
All right.
I'm surprised.
Somebody on the text line from the 620 says, you have to stop asking Drew to answer these questions.
Why?
Maybe because of the taco comment. But right below that on the text line from the 913, once for a special occasion, we got ground moose meat and made moose tacos for Mike Moustakis.
Is that like eating?
It's tacos.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an exotic choice.
I'll say this.
If you want to veer left from the traditional tailgate food, I think tacos aren't bad.
There's almost no time I won't eat a taco. Biggest issue with taco as a tailgate food is a taco requires a lot of ingredients. You got to have the shells, the meat, the cheese, the lettuce, the tomato, the guacamole, whatever, right? You need 7-8 things to put together a proper, delicious taco. For a burger, you need the meat, buns, and then, a couple of condiments, but those travel easier, right? Ketchup, mustard, whatever you put on your burger, right? Those things. It does seem like it's a little bit easier. Someone says, yeah, you can get those inside the stadium, but you pay 5 times the amount. I get it.
Yes, for
I'm
sure.
just asking.
Absolutely true.
Someone said Chiefs is liquor and Royals is beers. They even changed the drink choice.
I just think it's a more
stadium.
casual tailgate for a baseball game because it's not something you normally do. And yeah, you're not staying out there. The game's at 6. You're not getting there at noon and tailgating all day for a Royals game. A football game, it's a Sunday night game. You might be out there all afternoon and all evening.
I just felt like for a playoff game, you don't amp it up, change the math, add in an extra element. I'm surprised people don't go a little further out. Someone did mention the walking taco, an underrated mobile version of that where you just
walking tacos are great.
Yeah, that's a good point. The walking taco is a great tailgate food. Here's the thing. If someone's making tacos, there's no situation which I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'd like a taco right now. That's a food I will eat universally pretty much across the board. Someone says they do meatloaf for the Royals and fried chicken for the Chiefs. Meatloaf, huh? That's an interesting tailgate food. When was the last time you had some meatloaf?
That's more exotic than tacos, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I still think if you're doing burgers though or whatever, you have choices of cheese you can use, right?
Oh, really? Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti, cream cheese, Colby Jack. Did I say Gruyere? Blue? Swiss. Who puts cream cheese on a burger?
I don't know, man.
Someone said they're doing New York strips.
Ah, damn.
Where's that tailgate at? Get another strip on there. I'll be swinging by at 4 o'clock.
I did say I'd like to stop by a tailgate. Please let me know if you've got one for Alex and I.
Those are KC strips, not New York strips. Thank you very much. KC strips.
Got to be very careful about your cut of meat today. You got to make sure that you get the right one if you're getting a strip steak.
Someone said chili for cold Chiefs games.
That's probably Chiefs games, sure.
Choice, yeah.
But it's a baseball game tonight, and it's 70 degrees outside, 75 degrees outside.
Conceivably, the Royals make the World Series, and it's 40 degrees outside. Are you eating a bowl of chili before?
I would.
Tailgate?
Oh, I need a bowl of chili.
I also think you can just barbecue. You can still just have.
At that point, I think you turn more stuff on because it also keeps you warm. A bunch of grills going all at the same time. You're helping yourself out. Also, the last time the Royals played in the World Series, it wasn't 40 degrees outside. It was definitely colder, but it wasn't 40 degrees.
That is the random question of the day. Up next, let's talk a little bit more about the Chiefs and where things are considering their injury situation and then the single biggest decision that allowed the Royals to get to this point. We'll take your calls and texts on that. 913-586-7965.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
At Volkswagen Lease Summit, you get to choose the offer you want. Maybe you want no payments for 90 days on any new car. Like me, you wanted 0% APR for up to 60 months. That's exactly what I did. Or you can go to Volkswagen Lease Summit. We'll double your down payment where $3,000 becomes $6,000. I know it's hard sometimes to be like, what kind of new car do I want? I drove a Volkswagen for 10 years. I looked around. I looked at a lot of different cars, a lot of different makes and models, a lot of different dealerships. I was treated nowhere better than I was treated at Volkswagen Lease Summit. They brought out lots of choices for me, talked about their service plans, the warranty plans that I was looking for. Look, for the longest time, my kids didn't want to go anywhere near my car. Now they actively ask me to drive somewhere so that we don't have to go through this mess anymore. I'm not embarrassed to have my kids' friends in the car or those things and embarrassed by it. I was looking at all kinds of different spots, and I landed at Volkswagen Lease Summit, not just because of those deals, the 0% APR I got for 60 months, which is on the table, but for all the reasons I trusted Volkswagen before. It was the most reliable car I ever drove. So when I was looking for a new ride, why wouldn't I do that? Look, I wanted a little more space than the Jetta I was driving before, but they have Jettas, Tiguans like I have, a Taos, Atlas Crossport, or Atlas. Plus, they have used cars in all makes and models. So if you're looking for a new ride, you don't need to look anywhere else. Volkswagen Lease Summit will take care of you. Just pick your car and then pick your promotion at VWLeaseSummit.com.
Playoff baseball is here, and BetMGM is bringing the energy with the first ever bullpen jackpot. That's right, opt into BetMGM's exclusive bullpen jackpot. Place a player to hit a home run bet for any MLB playoff game this fall, and you could win a share of $50,000 in bonus bets if your player homers into the bullpen. That's not all. This offer lasts throughout the playoffs and right into the World Series. Plus, keep your eyes on the bullpen. It'll be branded with BetMGM across all MLB ballparks every step of the way. Don't miss out. The bullpen jackpot could be your ticket to $50,000 in bonus bets. So bet your home run prop bets on BetMGM. Watch the bullpen and cash in if a player lands a home run where it counts. Only with the sportsbook born in Vegas. BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Well, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Kansas City, it's Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings, located off I-70 and Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, October 11th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
It's the best time of the year. It's tailgate season, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time at Hy-Vee's Wine and Spirits department. This week is the perfect time to stock up and save on wine, beer, seltzer, and spirits during Hy-Vee's Thirsty Thursday sale. This Thursday only, get a 50-cent Fuel Saver discount for every $50 you spend on beer, wine, hard seltzer, and spirits. I love seeing the price at the pump go down when I use my Fuel Saver card. Don't miss Thirsty Thursdays only at Hy-Vee. Offer valid at Kansas City area Missouri stores only.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. Why is it important to deal with a roofing company that understands the insurance side of the business?
First of all, you want to make sure that you get all of the damage covered at your property. We have a very experienced team that's licensed and insured. We do roofs, windows, siding, and gutters, along with some interior trades, and we can make sure that all of the damage is taken care of.
I've used Manning Roofing at my house, so set up your appointment today at ManningGC.com or 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I'm Phil Sims. I played pro football for 15 years. People always ask me, what am I doing now? And I've been teaching kids and trying to help them throw the football better. The confidence I can see in them, that's what makes it all worthwhile. And taking Balance of Nature makes me feel happy and just living a good life.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off with your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code
Phil.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Vern's On Deck show starts at 5. First pitch just after 6 for Game 3 of the ALDS right here on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Reminder at 2 o'clock today, we'll hand things off to the drive. Carrington broadcasting outside Gate D. He'll get you set until Vern's On Deck show, 5 o'clock. And then, as you heard there, first pitch, 6:08 right here on your home for the Royals, 96.5 The Fan. Here in about 10 minutes or so, we'll get to the single biggest reason the Royals are in this position. We'll also take your calls and texts, 913-586-7965. But a second ago, Bobby Wood Jr. stepped up to the podium, seconds ago, to speak to the media ahead of his first playoff game at Kauffman Stadium. Here's what Bobby Wood Jr. had to say.
Giving you any advice on being in the playoffs? I mean, I think he played 4 playoff games before, so.
Yeah, really the biggest thing is just enjoy the moment. That's what he said, because you really don't know how many times you get this opportunity here. And so really just take it all in and just take it one pitch at a time.
I mean, you've had 4 road games now. I mean, what are you expecting from tonight, and how do you control, your emotions in that setting?
Electricity for sure. It's gonna be awesome. These are the moments you dream of. You work as a kid, you want to play in these games, you want to be in these games, especially here in Kansas City, just because of how great the fans are, how they show out each and every night, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Bobby, if I could take you back to spring training, what led you to believe that this team could get to this point after the type of year the team had last year?
Yeah, I think it started almost before spring training, just with the moves that we made. It was amazing moves with players that we have now, and just whenever everyone came into spring training, it just felt like that team was special. Just the camaraderie that we had, and it was just really, you just kind of just felt it and just knew it was a special team, and just how we bonded so well. And it started from opening day to now here we are today.
Hey, Bobby, in Baltimore, you told us you took a moment to take everything in, and that was awesome. What do you think that moment's going to be like here tonight in a few hours?
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. It's just, like I said, these are the moments you dream of, and so you just got to take it all in, enjoy every moment, and just make it last.
Hey, Bobby, JJ's talked a lot about kind of meeting with you at the end of last season, kind of talking about the future, and he said he just really wanted to ask you, like, what you wanted moving forward. I'm just kind of curious how you remember that conversation going, and kind of remember what you told him.
Yeah, the ultimate goal in those conversations, we wanted to win, and we wanted to do it this year, and so the conversations went well, and so here we are today. And so it's just one of those things where just him coming to me, asking me questions about what we think, like what's the next step, and the next step was just to win, because we knew how close we were last year, even though we lost 100+ games, but we just knew the team we had, and just add a couple key additions, and then we're going to be right here where we are today.
Well, I know things haven't gone personally as well for you in these first two games in New York. Has won one of them, and you're all about winning. But if you've gone back and looked, what have you kind of found that maybe you weren't doing right in New York that needs to change for you here in these next few games?
Yeah, no, just slow down the game. Nothing really needs to change too much. If I go back to spring training and say I'm over 10, but with the series 1-1 with the New York Yankees, I'd take that 100 times out of 100. And so just got to take things one pitch at a time, not worry about results, just worry about taking it one pitch at a time, one at bat at a time, and just try to get another win.
I mean, do you go back and study the video, the pitch sequences? I mean, what do you do to kind of get right, I guess?
Yeah, those past two games, you flush it and you move on, and then now we're here today, and I do my normal routine that I've always done. Don't try to change anything really, because we played so many games, and just go about it my normal way.
Bobby, when you're going through something like this, is it helpful to have others in the lineup kind of pick you up?
Yeah, anytime that's why there's 9 guys in the lineup. You can't all just kind of put it on one person, so you go about it, just the team. That's how great this team is. We just kind of always keep the line moving. And sometimes it's someone else, sometimes it's someone else. And so you just got to take things one pitch at a time, one step at a time. And just that's why this team's so special. It's because it's not always just one person, it's just the whole team.
Hey, Bobby, Michael Massey told me after the first win in Baltimore how like a win like that could really bring the team together. What differences have you noticed in the clubhouse over these past two, the Baltimore series and then this one? Has anything changed with you guys in the clubhouse? Or
Honestly, yeah, not really. We've been the same clubhouse pretty much since we started the season. We're enjoying our time. We're enjoying the wins. We're learning. We're improving. We're trying to get better each and every day. And so that's kind of how we go about our business. Is just, some things like we got to celebrate the wins when we can, but then also when that's over, flush it, move on, and get ready for the next day.
Bobby right here. One of those acquisitions was Seth Lugo. I'm wondering if you could talk. He's a guy who wanted to be a starting pitcher for a long time, had to come out of the bullpen. Playing behind him, what do you think makes him a good starting pitcher, demeanor-wise, stuff-wise? Why has he had so much success this year as a starter?
Yeah, I just think the work he puts in before the game, the preparation he has, and just how he just attacks hitters just with all 27 pitches he has. It's just great to see him do what he does, and just how I call him the surgeon, just because he's kind of attacking and dicing up hitters. And so it's just a lot of fun to see and play defense behind him, and just how consistent he's been throughout the whole entire year. And just each and every start, you're going to get out of him. And so it's just been a lot of fun.
Bobby, back here, what did Salvador Perez tell you about home games at the K during the postseason?
When you ask him about it, he just smiles. So that's when you know it's something special. But yeah, it's just how great the fans are here. And just like I've said in the past, like I've heard it over across the street. Now we're going to hear it tonight. So I'm really, really excited.
And for the two guys at the bottom, Garrett Hampson, Maikel Garcia, their performances, they've come through in the clutch. Just what have you seen from them that makes?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. Just those two guys they've put on the big stage, and they're performing. And so that's what it makes this team so special. Like I said, it's just those two guys, the work they put in, and we're just waiting for their time to come, and then here it is. And so it's been awesome.
Do you remember when you first called Seth for the surgery?
Not really. I can't really remember. It was early in the year, just because that's when he started doing what he's been doing.
Did you think of it just as you were watching him, or how did you?
Well, it kind of just came. I think someone said it, and then I heard it, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna say it. So I said it.
I mean, you've had a couple moments, taking the air out of the stadium in Camden Yards with the game-winning RBI a couple times, or the double play on Stanton late on Monday. Is that as satisfying to take the air out of a stadium as it is to hit one out here and kind of electrify the home fans? I mean, how's that compare and contrast?
Yeah, I haven't done that here yet, really, within this type of stage. But yeah, it's anytime you're able to kind of help the team in any shape or form, it's always special. And every time you kind of can quiet the opposing crowd, is pretty good.
You mentioned across the street. I'm just wondering, people always talk about how great it is to win in towns, like big cities like LA, New York. What have the Chiefs told you about what it's like to win here? And I know Mahomes is involved with you guys a little bit. What has he told you anything about postseason success or any relationship you have with him?
Yeah, just seeing the videos in the past in 2014, 2015, just how the fans are, and just how they're always in tune. They're always cheering for the team they love. And so this city is a sports town, just from all the sports and what all they're doing. And it's really special to see just how well they support their teams. And that's why I love it here.
Have you talked about it all the last couple of days?
Before the playoffs started, we texted a little bit.
What's his message?
just keep working. This is going to be a lot of fun. You got to go enjoy this time.
A couple of things kind of along that line. You guys were gone for so long. When you got back, you've only been back for like a day. Do you feel something different with the playoff fever around town?
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't really been out and about, but yeah, you can definitely just tell the buzz just with on like social media, and just you can just feel it. Just coming to the stadium yesterday and just kind of looking around, and just you could just definitely feel the buzz is coming. And just even from seeing videos at the Chiefs game of them cheering "Let's Go Royals" it's pretty special.
You've got some really good numbers everywhere this year, but even better at home. What is it about Kauffman Stadium you think that suits you, where the splits are a little bit better here than on the road?
Yeah, anytime I feel like you go to your house at home, you go wherever, you're pretty comfortable. And so I just think that this is my home. And so I'm really comfortable playing here. I got a good routine, and just being able to kind of play in front of the fans is just what I love to do.
You see the ball better here. People talk about the batter's eye screen back there. Is there anything about like just seeing the ball when you're hitting?
LDS tonight, and yeah, look, when you are the star player, it doesn't matter whether you're 0 for 10 or you're 10 for 10. You're the guy that everybody is going to want to hear from and make available. And as far as what the moment can be like, everybody's asking like, what do you think that's going to be like? In fairness to him, as he said, like I haven't really had that opportunity yet. This is this is his first home playoff game to create those memories, to have those moments. And look, his first hit in this series is coming tonight, Cody, and it's coming at Kauffman Stadium. He's not going 0 for 5 again tonight. That's not even like he's not having 3 straight games where he goes 0 for 5. I'm sorry. He's way too good of a player for that to happen.
He had not gone 0 for 5 since May.
Right.
Earlier this year. That was the first time he'd gone 0 for 5 since May. And it's the first time in his career he's gone back-to-back 0 for 5. So no, I am with you, Gold. I do not think Bobby Wood Jr. is going hitless tonight. I think the fair question is, like, the reception for each player is going to be kind of fun, because really what we're competing is, do you think that they'll yell louder for Bobby, or do you think they'll yell louder for Salvi when they first step to the dish? My guess is
Salvi. You
sure?
yell louder?
What is the louder cheer when they first dig into the batter's box? Salvador Perez or Bobby Wood Jr.?
This is a cop-out, but are there any? It depends if there's anybody on base.
Let's just, in this scenario, let's say base is empty for both.
I think it's louder for Bobby because people
Bobby gets up first.
Because he's up first and people are just sensing the big moment. But it'll be actually pretty darn close, because Salvador Perez had a home run the last game. It's also his first playoff game since he won a World Series with this team. First playoff game at Kauffman since he won a World Series with this team.
So, well, I'm just asking. Just a quick question as we result to, Bobby Wood Jr. and the things that kind of come with it. You had asked me earlier, and we had talked about it earlier in the show. We'll give you another chance. 913-586-7610. The Royals are here. They're tied. Like Bobby Wood Jr. just said it. If you had given him spring training, tied 1 game apiece, and you had said, you're tied 1 game apiece with the New York Yankees in the ALDS, he's like, I would not have cared how I had hit in each of the last 2 games. I would sign up for that. I think he said 100 times out of 100. What is the reason that they're here? Like, there are a lot of reasons. I'm not arguing that. I want to know the single biggest one. Earlier today, someone said, getting rid of Dayton. Somebody said, just hiring JJ. Trading for Cole Reagans, the ace of the staff, right? Signing Seth Lugo in free agency. Giving Bobby Wood Jr. a massive extension. I happen to think JJ's like at the core of all of it. So if I'm setting JJ aside for a minute, I think it's the retention of Salvador Perez. I do not think they even make the playoffs. If they'd made the difficult decision last year, which I think they got very close to entertaining, which was letting go of Salvador Perez for 5 straight years as the Royals struggled, as Salvador Perez lay in waste essentially on this team as they were nowhere near the postseason. Teams called and gave the Royals every opportunity to move on from Salvador Perez and to put him in a winning situation, Gold. And what did they do instead? He stayed by the team, they stayed by him, and even in the crucial moments last year, they held on tight. They make that move, they're not where they are today.
So that's a huge part of it. I mean, the reason why this is interesting is there's a lot of individual moves. I mean, I think the obvious answer is just that J.J. Piccolo is the general manager of this team, and the shift in the way they've gone about their business, being more transactional, how they've been evaluating at the big league level with being able to see basically Urseg and Reagans and evaluate that talent and believe that they can turn them into even more dominant players than they were in prior spots. That's a credit to hiring J.J. Piccolo. If I'm not allowed to give that as the answer, I still think the other broad one is just that Bobby Wood Jr. was drafted by this organization and that they evaluated properly. And you might be like, oh, that's so obvious. He's a star player. Everybody, no. We've seen organization after organization draft the wrong player.
And we've seen star players go nowhere. I mean, they drafted Mike Trout and helped him get to the postseason.
The Orioles drafted Adley Rutschman, who's a really nice player, but he's not Bobby Wood Jr. So that kind of stuff to me matters. If you're just saying in the last calendar year, my answer is different. The last calendar year, it's the signing of either Seth Lugo or trading for Lucas Urseg, in my opinion. There's a lot, man. Hell, I could argue Waka. Waka's been a top 3 pitcher for the last 2 or 3 months in baseball. So, I mean, that's why they've gotten to this point. There are so many decisions that have hit from this front office that has allowed them to get to this point. That's why I still think the answer is, the fact that J.J. Piccolo is the general manager is the biggest reason why they're in this spot.
Look, J.J. is the single biggest reason. He's at the core of all. He
made the Reagans trade. Yeah, he
didn't draft Bobby, but he made the Reagans trade, made the Urseg trade, signed Lugo, signed Waka. But then you could take it up, because if we do that, then you can be like, well, then the biggest reason is John Sherman. Couldn't have done all those things if the big man didn't sign off on all the checks, right? So that version of it changes the math a little bit, right, Gold? And so, okay, maybe it doesn't work that way. And I understand that. But if I'm just talking about the moves that the team made, and I'm just looking at them as all moves under JJ, under John Sherman, I think the Salvi one's the most important. Somehow even more than drafting Bobby Wood Jr. Bobby Wood Jr. is the best player on the team. I'm not arguing that. But again, in baseball, I've seen a lot of great players go nowhere. So how did that, maybe go to the postseason? But Trout didn't get to the postseason.
Yeah, but wouldn't the same thing being applied, though? Salvi's obviously had a career resurgence, but the same thing would apply if we're going to say if an individual player can't be Bobby, then sure as hell can't just be Salvi. That's why.
So it's not just the statistics for me. It's the fact that they needed at least one player on this team who remembered what it was like. And they needed that kind of leader. And they needed a guy like Salvi to work with the pitching staff and work with the young catchers.
For sure.
And a million other things to go with it. I honestly think there are a number of answers to this question. I think that's why I like it. Because if you came on here, if you called in, you texted in at 913-586-7965, and you told me that it was Cole Reagans, I don't think I could make a real argument for you. Gold, where would they be without an ace of the staff? A guy who started every game this year, every 5 days. Absolutely brought it every 5 days. The anchor of a playoff rotation. I mean, I can't tell you that that's not the biggest reason. I have a hard time. Lugo? What if they didn't sign Lugo? It's easy because these things kind of stack on top of each other. I just didn't know if you had to give one the biggest piece of the pie. Which one are you doing with? I'm doing Salvi. You're, in your case, saying JJ. If it's not JJ, is it the Urseg move for you? Because I don't think they make the postseason without that either.
I mean, look at this, the bullpen. We know what it was like before Urseg. And I know now, fortunately, they've got Urseg and Bubic and Sam Long pitching well and Schreiber pitching well. The reason why this bullpen is where it's at, they've got 4 guys, really, that they trust at this point. But Urseg is what has allowed them to have what is now a strength, plain and simple. Especially during that stretch of time where they didn't have any other complementary piece. Urseg was literally the only guy for a while you could trust. Now there's multiple guys, but for a while it was bleak in that bullpen. It was just Urseg. And then Bubic came along, okay, maybe it's Urseg and Bubic. Yeah. And then it was okay, Urseg, Bubic, and Sam Long, okay. And now here we are. And
that was like a slow domino effect.
4 or 5 guys where you feel pretty good, each one to a different level. Yeah. Urseg being the most confident, but the Lucas Urseg trade, he also is under control next year. So
he's under control through 2029.
He's going to be
5 years.
He's going to be their closer next year.
In the year after.
Well, baseball's weird.
Well, yeah,
but yeah, for sure next year.
He'll be somewhere near this team for a few years.
If you wanted to go specific, was Tommy Pham the guy that stepped up kind of when they were going through that little rut where they couldn't win any games? Well, was Tommy one of the guys that was playing really well?
Yeah, he was.
In that period of time? Because that's very specific, but I think Tommy Pham is part of the reason where they were kind of falling apart, and he found a way, and he was one of the guys that was able to step it up in that period of time.
For sure. I mean, he played a role. I mean, there's probably 15 different reasons. Yeah, I don't think it's the biggest, but there's no doubt. One, he's performed well here in the postseason, but having that attitude and mindset in the clubhouse, a lot of the players there have given him a ton of credit for bringing that. A guy that was in the postseason with the Arizona Diamondbacks last year. So there's just been a ton of moves that have happened. And
they completely overhauled
to have
the
turnaround that they had from 56 wins, you have to have a ton of moves like this. It's the only way it's possible.
If I showed you 2023 opening day roster to 2024 opening day roster. And then I double stacked that with 2024 end of season roster. How many guys are left? 6? Like from 2023 opening day roster to 2024 opening day roster to today, between the bullpen and the lineup, how many guys remain? I'm dead. How many guys remain? Not Bubic, not Urseg, right? So we've already eliminated a couple. Was Long on the opening day? I think he made the opening day roster. Okay. Massey, Vinny, Bobby, Salvi, you got those. But then you start going down the rest of the lineup and you're like, Michael, you start going down some other spot. Tommy Pham wasn't here. Gurriel certainly wasn't here. 2/3 of the bullpen wasn't here opening day 2024. They remade their roster twice. They remade it from 2023 to 2024, and then they remade it from beginning of 2024 to end of 2024.
Remember, Massey had the back injury to start. He actually wasn't even on the opening day roster. He would have been if he was healthy, but he wasn't.
They remade themselves twice. They didn't just remake the roster once. They fully, fundamentally changed who they were more than once. The bullpen is completely different. To begin the year, the bullpen was James MacArthur was your closer. A bunch of other dudes who are no longer in the bullpen. And then now it's 5 different names they go to before they go to anybody who started.
Yeah.
I don't think Zerpa started on the opening day roster. They have changed themselves a number of times.
I think this text is fair. We don't view it this way, but it's a good point. So the evaluation season last year was actually being an evaluation season and changing things. That's the difference. Because we all kind of like evaluation year. Nobody likes to hear that.
Yeah, because it usually means you're a loser. Yeah, you're not going to win.
But I guess if you step back and see all the changes they made, you could say, no, they truly did use it as an evaluation season. For once in sports, I would say, for once in sports history, a team said they had an evaluation season. It went terribly, and they used said evaluation to completely change their roster, and it led to a playoff appearance and now a chance, maybe, hopefully, to get to an American League Championship Series. So, yeah, I think it's a really good text, actually. Normally we hear it in the NBA, baseball, NFL. Nobody likes to admit it, but it's kind of an evaluation season. And how often does the next year actually lead to postseason success? Not often.
Somebody says they did the math, they think. I haven't fact-checked
Okay.
it. The 4 starters, right, the guys that you would expect, Zerpa, Schreiber, Salvi, Vinny, MJ, Isbell, Hampson, Frazier, Renfroe, and for me. By my count, that's 14. There are 26 members of a roster, which means they went from, I think it was 7 guys from 23 to 24 was the only roster that remained from opening day to opening day. Okay, so they only carried 7 over from the opening day 2026 year to year. And then by the end of this year, they only had half, 60%. I mean, that's a pretty significant roster change, but also they had to change the entire bullpen. They had to mix up the lineup in a couple of spots. Like the starters have remained. That's why they're in the playoffs. They didn't have to change Reagans or Lugo or, Waka, Singer. They didn't have to change those a lot over time. Marsh went back and forth with Lorenzen in the middle of the season. But this is why they are where they are, Gold. Feels good.
Coming up next, we will get to what's trending, of course, other than just that there's a playoff baseball game in Kansas City. And I do want to talk real quick about something you said could have happened if it wasn't for a few of these in the Chiefs season. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We're just talking about sitting out in a parking lot, tailgating, right? Well, if your parking lot doesn't look good outside of your business, worry about that no longer. Call Gann Asphalt and Concrete and make sure that you're taken care of. One contractor, all things parking lot. That's what they say over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete because they can handle all of those needs. We've said it doesn't matter how big or small your project is or if you're trying to do this out in pieces. They just took over a contract for a retirement home over in the Overland Park area. Well, that's because they want to make sure that their people are safe, right? If that's important to you, that your business looks good, is a reflection of your business and how much care you have put into your business, then you'll call Gann Asphalt and Concrete. They care about their business. They've been doing local work locally owned and operated for 30 years, serving the Kansas City community for 30 years. That's what they want to do for you. So whether you want to make your parking lot safer, more appealing, they're going to do that for you. Seal coating, crack filling, drainage systems, faded striping, or just potholes due to those upcoming harsh winter conditions. GAN Asphalt and Concrete will do that for you. Go to GANNasphalt.com, take a look at their services for you, and let them know that Cody sent you.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
O'Reilly! Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free in or out of your vehicle. We can help you find the best battery for your vehicle and budget. O'Reilly Auto Parts has batteries starting at just $79.99. Get your battery tested for free today at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. It seems like everything we hear these days is about political races, and yet there's a far more important race that you run for yourself every day. It's the race to be the best that you can be. But if your libido is low, if your workouts aren't productive, if you've got brain fog and you're tired all the time, you may feel like you're losing that race, and maybe even that your best days are behind you. But the truth is that they're likely not, because if you're feeling like this, it's probable you're simply suffering from low testosterone, a condition that affects a huge percentage of men as we age. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. We've successfully treated thousands of men for the condition, and if you're like most guys, you'll start seeing results in just a few weeks. Better sleep patterns, higher energy, improved mental clarity, more productive workouts, and your libido will likely increase as well. So get back to winning your race by calling us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Fall in the Midwest is pleasant. The air is crisp, the temperatures are mild, and all is right with the world. But every one of you knows that lurking around the corner is creepy old man Winter. He wants to come into your home, put his feet up on the couch, and take over the remote. That's why you need to replace your drafty old windows with triple glass replacement windows from Thermo King. Triple glass? But weren't you told that double glass windows were all you'd ever need? Think again. Triple glass windows offer double the insulating barriers against creepy old man Winter than double glass windows. And their super strong frames are guaranteed to never twist, warp, fade, or fail. And right now, Thermo King is selling their triple glass windows for the same price as double glass. Who would do such a thing? Thermo King, that's who. So don't let this beautiful weather fool you. Protect your home from creepy old man Winter and call Thermo King today. 888-KING-WIN or online at thermokingwindows.com.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro.
Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
Autumn is in the air, and like the leaves, prices are falling at Harbor Freight's parking lot sale this weekend. We've got tons of products on sale, like 3-ton jacks for under $100, 5,000-watt generators $250 off, plus dual bevel miter saws at nearly half the price of the competition. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 10/13/24 while supplies last, so hurry in, limitations apply.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending. Of course, What's Trending on the show, by the way, is brought to you by our friends over at Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. But number one is that the Royals have a Game 3 of the ALDS tonight at Kauffman Stadium. 6:08 first pitch here on your home for the Royals. 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on deck show at 5 o'clock. It is Seth Lugo against Clark Schmidt of the New York Yankees. Royals are saying, hey, get in your seat by 5:40. You don't want to miss pregame activities as you're heading out there. Gates open at 3:30, so less than 2 hours from now.
God, that's crazy. Gates open in 2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Woo, we're so close to an actual game. I can't wait for playoff baseball. Next up on What's Trending, big news for the Houston Texans. Their leading wide receiver in the NFL's leading yardage wide receiver right now, Nico Collins, has been placed on the injured reserve. He suffered a hamstring injury in their last game. At first, D'Amico Ryans, I'm not even kidding, less than 24 hours ago, said day to day. Less than 12 hours ago, said week to week. This morning, they placed him on IR, so he'll miss at least the next 4 games. He was having a breakout year. I'd say similar to that is Rashee Rice was having a breakout year. Nico Collins will be not with the Texans for the next 4 weeks.
I gotta see if that team can get through the injuries the same way the Chiefs have for multiple years, and that's what makes it so impressive and challenging, though, at the same time, for anybody like the Chiefs go through the run that they have. Next up on What's Trending, elsewhere in Major League Baseball, we got 4 games today, guys. The first one actually...
Last day with 4 games.
Yep. Mm-hmm. 208 first pitch. I got you. 208 first pitch. Guardians and Tigers. First one up, TBS. Then you get the Phillies and the Mets, 408. And then, of course, the Royals game at 608, I'm sorry, before we have Dodgers, Padres. So it's a full slate of baseball games.
Mets lead that series 2-1. Padres lead their series 2-1. So chance for both of them to advance to the the NLCSs on that end if they're able to get those wins today. Next up on What's Trending, Woody Johnson says he and he alone was the person who made the decision to fire Robert Saleh. In the shocking news yesterday, Aaron Rodgers appeared on Pat McAfee show and said he resents anyone who suggests that he had anything to do with the decision-making. There is conflicting reporting. Some reporting does seem to suggest a timeline that is Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers had a telephone conversation about the Robert Saleh news. Now, look, I assume they would have a conversation about it. The question is who called who, and did anybody ask for someone's head in those meetings? That we'll probably never know. I don't think anyone, maybe in a book 10 years from now. Either way, Robert Saleh's gone, and we know that. And they take on the Bills for a chance at first place later this week.
That is What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. So, look, we know what tonight could be at a Kauffman Stadium. It could be extremely special. We expect it to be special, and I hope that the Yankee fans are very minimal out at the K this evening, to the point where, like, hey, there'll be some, you'll see, they cannot be audible tonight. And I believe, based off of the feedback that we've been getting from Royals fans and how amped up everybody is in remembering what 14 and 15 were like, I don't think that's going to be a problem. anytime you play the Yankees, you worry about it more than a series against the Tigers or
They've got kind of fans
Angels or
everywhere.
something. Because, yeah, Yankees like the Cowboys and the Steelers. It is a national, international brand. But I don't think that's going to be something that you run into like you did in the regular season. When the Yankees were here in the regular season, it was loud when the Yankees scored. Playoff baseball, middle week game also helps here. It's not a weekend. It's not as easy for Yankees fans to find a way there to Kansas
Take
City.
time off,
And
all
those that are here in Kansas City, yeah, hopefully they're busy with work. I think it's going to be sensational. And we saw some photos. Some people were mentioning that they were already heading out to coffee. Somebody said they were taking off at work at 12:30 to get in line to head over to the K already.
I got to figure out how early we're going to try to get out there. If you're going to tell me where you are, 913-586-7965. I'd like to stop a couple of places on my way inside the K, get a chance to meet some fans. Maybe we haven't a chance to do so far this year. If you were unable to make it to Jefferson's, just shoot it in to 913-586-7965 or shoot us a DM at Cody B. Tapp or at Alex Gold. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I don't think that you can undersell the fact that it's been 9 years since we got a home playoff game. And because of the new wildcard setup, that was not a guarantee going into this postseason. You and I were both sitting here, and they had to win a series against the Orioles just to see a game at home. And because they split this series against New York, we're going to get 2 home playoff games at minimum for the rest of this postseason. Obviously, win the series, and you'll get even more home playoff games, 3 or 4, depending on your American League opponent. Because if it was Detroit, you'd get 4 if it was the other way. A maximum of 4.
Yeah.
And a maximum of 3 on the other side. This is a really big deal for the city because now that we know what we know about the Chiefs, these two teams have never been this good together ever. Ever. Like, I mean, we had playoff teams. The Chiefs were a playoff team in 14 and 15. The Royals were a World Series team, a World Series winning team in 15. The Chiefs were middling. So even if you're saying the Royals are middling, the Chiefs are 2-time, back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions 3 times in the last 5 years. So, I mean, the Chiefs are all-time high, all-time NFL dynasty high, and the Royals are a damn playoff team fighting with the New York Yankees. This is as best as it's ever been. The last 10 years, obviously, altogether, is as good as it's ever been, as you'd mentioned, as a heyday. Man, I'm just excited about playoff baseball back at the K. It's been too long. Like, it's getting long enough now that you're having a hard time, like, remembering it in detail. Not that you don't remember it, but it wasn't yesterday. It was 9 years ago, man. 9 years ago. You were at Game 2 of the World Series at Kauffman. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about everything that's changed. It transpired in this city since that last playoff game at Kauffman. So, no, I think the goosebumps of hearing highlights and all that kind of stuff, it's fitting. You know, I've seen people text again, the latest text we got, someone talking about taking their son his second game. And, you know, people that got to experience that in 14 or 15 maybe with their young children who now are teenagers or whatever, you know, and people that maybe weren't in Kansas City then, everybody getting to experience if you didn't back in 14 and 15. Like, there's something that's pretty special about that. They truly are memories that everybody's going to have for the rest of their life. And you know, that's what's intriguing about tonight is not only the experience, but what special thing is going to happen. Like, I don't know about you. Like, I do think the Royals are winning this game tonight, and I can't wait to find out how does that happen. And it usually in playoff baseball,
who gets the big hit?
The drama that's going to happen. You know, I hope they don't have to come back.
What kind
and
of
have
game do you think this is? You think it's 10-9 or like
No.
4-3?
I think it's way more likely to be a 4-3 than 10-9. Don't you? I don't think Aaron Judge is going to keep going hitless. I don't think Bobby Wood Jr. is going to keep going hitless. But at the same time, Seth Lugo, I think we saw him pitch enough this year to know that you're going to get a quality outing. Heck, even when he got pulled the other day, it wasn't a terrible outing from Seth Lugo. It wasn't what you were expecting, but it wasn't terrible by any means. Clark Schmidt, I know he's not a household name. I didn't know who the hell the guy was until a week ago. He's been very good in 90 innings. So I think it's way more likely to be a 3-2 type of game, a 3-1 type of game again, than it is to be 7-8 in the 8th inning.
I think it's probably, like, if you made me guess, Royals win 4-3, right? I definitely think it is going to be another dogfight between these two teams because the power numbers haven't been great for either of these teams in the postseason, and they've had to earn these runs. And Seth Lugo this year has earned that right. If you missed it earlier, by the way, the lineup: Massey, Witt Jr., Vinny, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Salvi, Gurriel, and Melendez, and then Garcia, Frazier, and Isbell leading off. You're wondering why Frazier in right field, which is, I'm not saying unfair, based on who's been starting this postseason, who's been the better player. Frazier is 4 for 8 in his career, faced Schmidt quite a bit last season with a home run, so he's just got good numbers.
Frazier hasn't had an at-bat in the postseason yet, right?
And when you factor in the fact that Schmidt he's only gone to the 6th inning twice this season. Last time was in May, so he's probably not long for this world. Well, then Frazier might be only getting 1 or 2 at-bats before you make that change and make those pinch hitting situations different for your team anyway. You're just trying to take advantage of a guy who's seen Schmidt a couple of times.
It worked,
and a guy who's been a very good defensive right fielder for them.
It worked with Michael Garcia the other night, when people were questioning the decision from Q to have him in the lineup. And he of course, came up with 4 hits and tied a Royals postseason record. A couple more texts I just think are really cool for everybody enjoying this moment in Kansas City. 913-586-7965. Someone else says, surprised their 13-year-old son with tickets this morning. Top 10 dad moment. Yeah,
that's got to feel so good.
That's got to be incredible. Someone else says they were 11 years old at the 20. They mean 20. They said 16, but they mean 2016. They mean 2015 wildcard game. Oh no, they're talking about the Chiefs. I'm sorry, 2016 wildcard game against the Titans, and their dad has never been to a playoff game. Grateful to take him. Let's go. Okay, sorry, I misread that text. But yeah, that's cool. Those are the moments that are really neat.
My kids are like just not old enough that they would understand.
Desmond, not yet.
8 and 6. My daughter. So she said, "Where are you going to be tomorrow?" I said, "I got to go to the Royals game. They're playing in the playoffs." And she said, "Well, I want to go." But I think she just said, "Like that sounds like fun. Let's do that." More casual.
Why don't you buy my tickets, Cody, and take your daughter?
Go.
Why don't you just buy my tickets and take your daughter
and take Ruby to the game?
Yeah.
And leave my son at home?
We'll take both.
But that you don't have enough tickets.
I have
for
2.
that.
You can find a third.
An SRO, and then just have him sit in my lap for that part of the game.
There you go.
I imagine, or at least hope, at some point in my life, I'll have a chance to kind of surprise my kids at that. I do think that there's a perfect age for that. I'm not sure that it's not 6. Not based on my kids, it's not 6. 13 might be it. Surprising you're 13, like 13, 14, 15. I mean, that is like,
because
that is a sweet spot. My brother's going to the game either
it.
today or tomorrow, and he's got 3. He's taken 2 of his boys.
As far as being able
Maybe
to
3?
appreciate it, I do think you're right. Like 12 and up, probably to really appreciate it. I think your 9-year-old's excited in the moment, but I don't know if they necessarily recognize the magnitude of it. Whereas you start to get past 12 or 13, I think maybe you do start to recognize a little bit more about like what's really going on here. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of how I think age-wise. Someone else just says, hey, their son's playing baseball at K-State. He's upset he can't come back to the games.
Oh, it sucks.
People that grew up here that...
but watch it on campus. Create a memory that way,
Of course, yeah. It's not the same. You know that.
I know, but you remember college moments. I'm sure it was Kansas, but at K-State, I'm sure most of them are Royals fans, or at least a good chunk of them are Royals fans. Get in a dorm together, get a 30 rack, if he's 21. And enjoy the moment with your fellow classmates. Sorry, I didn't want to encourage underage drinking. I don't know how old this kid is.
Thanks, Professor.
If you're of legal age to drink. Did you ever have a beer with a professor? Is that something I should be offering to students?
I did. After the semester was over, we did.
Yeah, we're not doing the middle of the
year. I was in a fantasy baseball league with one of my professors. Yeah.
Like at the time?
I mean, not. Actually, it was while the semester was going. Yeah.
Okay. And then you guys had a beer after?
What class was that?
Okay.
English something. Like it was like English something. It was an elective.
In the semester, do I just say, hey, look, after class this time, I'm going to be at this bar. You want to get a beer? We can get a beer. If not, fine. How's that work? How did you get invited to the beer with the professor? That's what I'm asking.
I think it was because we were talking about this whole shock you sports, and so we just were.
What a connection!
Yeah, and there was like 3 of us that went and had beers with them.
So you just bonded individually. I don't like to.
No,
say
there's 3 of us that went.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Like as a smaller group.
Yeah.
Versus he didn't just open us up to.
No, that'd be weird. Like, yeah, you can't just be like, "Hey guys, go to grab a beer. Do you want to join me?" It doesn't work that way. I don't think that's going to work for you, Cody. If you do that with your class.
Did he invite you, or did you invite him to the beer?
I don't know. There's 3 of us. So I was like,
so who invited who?
Well,
that's what I'm asking.
Maybe he ultimately did. Yeah.
I think
this was like 20. This was 2010, 2011.
Drew, did you ever have a beer? I've had beers with professors.
I've not had beers. I've had coffee multiple times.
Coffee. I've had plenty of beers with professors.
I don't think Gold, a 21-year-old college student, would invite his professor of all people to have drinks. I feel like the professor would have been the one.
But he's telling me I can't do the inviting.
No, I'm telling you, you cannot stand up there in your lecture hall or whatever you're in and be like,
"There's 18 kids on a lecture hall." It's a small classroom.
I don't think.
Don't invite 18 kids to a bar and say, "Hey, I'm
I just don't think you can.
I think that's fine. I think you'd be like, "Hey, in the semester, I appreciate it. If you want to get a
at the
beer and talk
very
shop,
end?
yeah, at the end, not tomorrow.
I still think that's weirder. I just if you had if there was like 2 or 3 students that you ended up connecting better with, I guess, or whatever, or whether it was because of sports or something, and that would be fun. I just don't think you want to announce to all 18 people in your class like, hey, go get a beer with me at the end of the semester.
The problem is I actually don't know if all of them are 21. I don't know their ages. I've never asked.
Someone said, I'll do anything for an A, Professor Cody. Anything.
I have one kid who I know is 20 because he told me his age in the last class. So that kid can't go. But
You said that they call you Cody, correct? It's not like they call you Professor Tap or anything?
Yeah, correct. They just call me Cody.
Okay.
They asked, like 2 students asked in the very beginning. I'm like, I don't care what you call me. Just, you want to call me Mr. Tap? Fine. You want to call me Cody? I don't
Hear
really
this?
care.
Someone says they took their professor on a date when they were 21.
Bold.
Wow.
That's
I'm just going to say,
probably shouldn't
I would
be
not
doing
recommend
that.
anybody
The
do that.
professor should not be doing that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Someone says, Cody, all of us UMKC grads had beers at Mike's on Truce with professors. That's where I used to host a radio show when I was in college, so fine with me. It's not even called that anymore. It's like an Irish bar.
It sounds like you're missing out.
I've had beers with the professor at that bar.
If it's like UMKC spot,
I don't know if it's a
guess,
tradition.
you know?
I'm just saying that I've had a beer at that bar with the professor.
Okay.
I also went to the Cheesecake Factory with the professor and his wife once. You know? I'm not dead serious.
Cheesecake Factory.
He invited me, man. I don't know. That's where he wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the last time, maybe one of the only times I've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory. This is
Yeah,
quite a
slice
way
the
in the show, you know?
chocolate mousse. Yeah, chocolate mousse cheesecake. Mm-hmm.
I need Seth Lugo. Here's my dream scenario. You want to say Cody's dream of a game tonight? Because then I get the stress and the playoff atmosphere. I want Seth Lugo to go 6 innings. I want it to be 2-2 in the 8th inning. And I want Bobby Wood Jr., because the 9th is too stressful. I want Bobby Wood Jr. in the bottom of the 8th inning to hit a 2-run home run into the fountains. They go up 4-2. Urseg with the save. Royals with a chance to clinch. That's what I want. You know? 2-2 game.
I mean, that'd be fun.
Bobby Wood Jr. hit the home run into the fountains. Problem solved.
That would be fun. I would prefer it not to be a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 8th. You know, I would prefer the Royals aggressive early against Clark Schmidt, and it's the 2nd inning and they're already up 2-0. I'll tell you that. And that they just are pretty steady and they win this thing 2-1 or 3-1. That's what I would prefer. I get what you're going for, the drama. By the way, I know you want. Look, the 2014 wild card is epic because they were down and came back
multiple times.
But I don't need that tonight. I don't need them falling down, 5-0 and coming all the way back.
Don't want that.
It can be 2-0 Royals throughout the entire game, and I'm just fine.
Even if it's 10-0, is that your dream scenario? That it's just 10-0
I mean, that'd be
Royals?
just a party all night at the K. I know I'm there. I'm not going as a fan. I'm going as media. But you get what I'm saying.
You can enjoy watching
I can enjoy watching the
afar.
party, yes. I will not be partying at that given time.
You can party after.
You and I will be in official capacity representing the station at the Royals game tonight.
Yeah, I'm working, Can't be.
Tough job we have tonight, guys.
I take my job serious.
We are working very, very hard.
I'm sure there are a lot of listeners who will be disappointed at this, but you didn't play your song, Cody.
Oh, I forgot.
Darn, just darn
If
it.
they win tonight, can I play one tomorrow?
everything.
Hey, can I play 2 tomorrow if they win tonight?
No. One. You missed your opportunity. I offered
Damn
it
it,
at
I
the
forgot.
11 o'clock hour.
That's on me.
I'm stunned.
Gold offered it and
That is on me.
Mm-hmm. Man. Back at it tomorrow. Hopefully talking about an opportunity to clinch a spot in the ALCS. We'll talk to you guys then. The Drive with C. and Rob coming up next.